This is not a professional setup, guys. So.
Oh, did you tweet it? Let me retweet it.
Yeah, I just
we
tweeted
never
it.
claimed to be professional. To be fair.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Oh, thanks.
In case you want to. Oh no, like in the thing, I'll show you the tweet I was talking about.
I got it. Pulling it up.
Yeah, it's like 325 likes so far.
Nice, you're killing it.
Yeah, it's gotten ridiculous.
Killing it. All right. Hello, everybody. I don't know if anyone's watching. Oh, you got a couple people watching. Hi, Joe Morgan in the comments. Okay, so we have kind of a big group. We also have Alice might pop in a little bit later, and also Centrus Aussie, our Australian. So we'll have an Austrian and an Australian on. Hopefully, we can make that work. This is so diverse. Look how diverse this is, guys. Like, we're winning. Just kidding.
Yep.
So we can just freeform the conversation. Wherever it goes, it goes. I'll handle comments that come in and questions. Like I said,
Sicilian here, so technically I am very diverse, just within my own bloodstream.
We're part black. Well, I'm part black, and I'm also have a black card from Hex. So.
Well, and I'm quarter Jewish, and according to some modern day politics, quarter Jewish makes me still Jewish enough.
Yeah. I mean, once you're Jew, you're Jew. Yeah.
One single drop.
Can't get off of that. So how was everyone's week? Everyone, let's go. Well, how about we go around? We'll start with how we are on the screen here. Start with you, Dino. Everyone kind of introduce yourself and then just say something good that happened this week, maybe. And then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, I'm Dino. I'm from Austria. I'm planning to move to the United States. Did anything good happen last week? Not really. I'm looking for a job right now. And it's fucking Europe, so... Although, like, I went to Hungary yesterday, and they are not as crazy about the regulations and everything. And there's another factor, like, our biggest cities do have another problem that kind of becomes a bigger problem and will continue to grow. And they don't have it there. So
they don't have the problem there?
Yeah, let's just say we have a religious... very radical group where you have some specific people who cause a lot of trouble, and if you don't stop them, they continue to misbehave and do horrible shit. So
yes, we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on here. Go for it, Eric.
Yes, I am Eric, host of the mildly popular Rebel with a Cause podcast, and something good that happened this week. Not really anything. I've been unemployed since the middle of February, and I start my new job tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Yay! And you didn't have to move for it?
Did not have to move. Sadly, Baton Rouge claims another victim. I just cannot leave this city to save my life. So.
All right, you Hex.
I need no introduction. I've been on
Yeah.
just basically every time. Everyone knows who I am at this point. One good thing that did happen this week is I got this bastard working again.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Nice. A fellow musician in the group. So, yeah, I got the old bass guitar right here because I'll have to practice that later. So
Yeah, we're going to have a band time later.
If we can get Alex on the drums, that'll be great. Oh, see, he also plays guitar and bass just like me.
Oh, he has like a million guitars over there.
Yeah, I've got 3. I've got an electric guitar, a bass guitar, and an acoustic guitar that I popped my E string on, and I have no acoustic strings to replace it, and I'm a little sad about that.
I have 3 electrics, an acoustic, and a bass.
I've got 1 acoustic to train a little bit, but I'm not good.
As I like to say, I play at them. I don't play them.
Pretty much.
Right, Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex Hatch, and I am just on Twitter a lot. Like, I have a podcast that I kind of quit for a while, but we're bringing it back hopefully soon. And
yes, we need more of you and your sister.
Yeah. We actually recorded one. We just haven't released it. And we want to start doing live streams like this so people can ask questions. We can be more interactive with it.
Yeah. Do that. Come back on my show, and then we'll have fun.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Yeah. And a good thing that happened this week is, let's see, actually the week was like going really well. And then on Wednesday, I talked to a good friend of mine who's a therapist, and he like brought up a bunch of stuff that made me think about horrible things from my childhood. So then I got super depressed, and I feel like I'm finally climbing out of that. And last night was a lot of fun because I got to go to a fundraiser for a friend of mine here in the Bay Area and see some other friends. So that was nice.
Was it necessary work in your head to do with that stuff being brought up?
Oh God, he says so. I don't know. I'm still like fighting it. Like, how important is it that you process childhood trauma and like feel those feelings again? Like, I thought you could just like stuff them down and hide them away. Like, isn't
Right.
That's
that
what I do. Works
that's
with
an
me.
okay strategy?
That's what I do.
Yeah, but he keeps telling me that that's like the cause of my depression and anxiety. So,
Well,
Yeah.
and you got a lot going on in your family, your personal family too. So
true. That's
know.
true.
And you've been doing kind of more. Have you been on some of those podcasts that are the like family rearing podcasts, or have you just been sharing those ones?
A little bit. Yeah, some people I'm on. Like, there's a parenting group chat that I'm in, and we're doing Twitter Spaces. We're trying to do them once a week on parenting, peaceful parenting, and respectful parenting practices, which is cool. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing I'm passionate about is treating children with respect and
What? No,
having
children are
peaceful
supposed to be
homes.
seen and not heard. I thought.
Right? It did well for me. I'm like all fucked up in the head. So
Let me give a shout out to people in the comments real quick. Hey, Colin, Joe, Voxix, and Boosted. All right. Oh, we could just start
I didn't even
talking
have the
about that.
comments pulled up. I didn't even see anybody. But now I do.
Sorry.
It's all good.
the
Oh, and
comments
Alice-
are so small and my eyes are so bad I can't read them that well.
Yo, same.
Alice will be on in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Well, shoot.
Someone needs
Talk
to
about
check their
childhood
brakes.
trauma.
A little squeaky out there.
Ooh, that's a topic I have a lot about.
Yeah, I was gonna say you do. Yeah, you're always talking about it too.
Yeah, but I'm definitely a friend of confronting the traumas and working through them and to figure out like mechanisms we develop and gosh, what's the fucking word? And the coping mechanisms to figure them out, so I can maybe start not doing some of those because they're not needed anymore.
The coping mechanisms.
Yeah, like psychological reflexes you have that one saved your ass, but once you're out of the situation, the habit stays.
Right.
And, it's not really helpful.
I just remember like living through for like a long time. You know, I had my parents overall were good, but I mean, parents don't know what they don't know, and shit happens. As I know, some of you are parents, obviously, and like that's why Alex is like trying to, because you don't want to add trauma to people's lives. You can work through these situations and not traumatize your children.
Yeah.
But I remember for the longest time, it was like you kind of like keep working through it, and like you do have to feel like you keep feeling it, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to feel that. It felt terrible when I was fucking 12. I don't want to feel it again now, you know. But then I don't know how I just dropped it after a while. Although like my family did just have an experience this week with my mother, and I was like, oh, because I was young, so my sisters didn't really like. We all got different parents. Every child gets a different parent, kind of, you know. And mine it was like 10 years of separation between when they were growing up and me. So it was like, oh, this is the mother I had growing up. Now you guys get to see the mother I had growing up and stuff like that. What are you gonna do? Go for it. Now there's a lot of people and y'all aren't talking. Just jump in and talk.
Yeah.
I mean, like if we're talking about psychological things and things we can do, I'm going to make a shout out to the work of Nathaniel Brandon, the ex-husband or lover of Ayn Rand. He did this thing called the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, and Rost and Rost is somebody who follow a little bit of research, especially with the question objectivist parenting. How could that work? How could we actually become the heroes we want to see, so we can teach our children how to live with freedom and everything? Because if you don't have a concept of what freedom actually can be, and you just like the word and the sound of it because it's a good word, it's a nice thing, if you don't really can grasp it, you will use the phrase, but it's not going to have any meaning to it.
That's funny. I should read that book because I actually like Ayn Rand, and that's one of the things that got me into I kind of started reading Ayn Rand before I became an anarchist, and I haven't read that book, but I definitely agree that I think statism, so as an anarchist, I think statism starts in the home. And when you teach your children to blindly obey authority, like that's a problem. So we shouldn't be doing that. We should be trying to work collaboratively with people that we love and model a healthy, loving relationship with our children. Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting to read.
If you want to, I can drop the Amazon link into the chat.
Sweet.
Yeah, that is so hard with kids.
That's the German Amazon, but you'll find it anyway.
Like, yeah, because you want to teach kids, obviously, like, how to live life, but, like, yeah, the authority thing, that's so hard. I don't know how y'all do it. That was, like, half why I didn't want kids, because I'm like, I hated that dynamic. But I understand, like, you have to raise kids to not be fucking terrible people, so
but
I'm glad you're figuring it out.
Well, the thing is, you can do that without any punishments or rewards. So my view is that punishing and rewarding people in general is toxic. You shouldn't do it to a partner, so you shouldn't do it to kids.
It's behaviorism. Thanks, basically, and that works on dogs to train them like that. But we are not dogs. We're humans. We have a little bit of a different setup in our brains.
I don't know. I feel pretty dumb most of the time. Just kidding. I'll stay at the dog level of intelligence. Boy. Yeah. I don't know. Y'all were supposed to talk more than me. Okay, I'll carry the conversation. This is my podcast. I'm like that, though. Like, if y'all meet me in real life, I'm actually more quiet. But I like this. Oh, here's Alice, too. Let me bring her in. Hold on. Or not Alex, Alice. We have Alex and Alice. Hi, Alice.
Hello, Alice.
Can you hear us?
There she is.
Can she hear us? I don't know if she can hear us. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There she is.
Oh, yeah, there's a delay. Well, I can try and work that out. We were just talking about parenting, so you got here just in time. Now you're another parent. I think she's
apparently.
Nice.
Wordplay.
Oh, I'm such a
I think you're really delayed, Alice. Sorry.
Yeah, I heard you talking about child trauma.
It'll just catch up every now and then. All right. Oh, so Eric, how many kids do you don't have? Well, I guess we don't have to talk. We don't have to talk about personal stuff. I was going to say, I know you have kids, but.
Yeah, I have 2 kids. I have a 13-year-old boy, a 5-year-old girl, both adopted out of the foster care system.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sweet. Need to do something. Let's get him winning.
Are they from Baton Rouge too? Those kids? Did you adopt them down there?
Yeah, they're all from Baton Rouge.
Okay.
I didn't get them from far-flung lands or anything like that. So.
Did you foster before you adopted?
Yeah, we were foster parents before. So my son, he's actually like my wife's 3rd cousin, once removed, or some kind of family math like that. And then the little girl, we've got no relation to her, but we were the ones who answered the phone call at like 10 o'clock at night. So.
Wow. Did you foster other kids too?
No, those are the only 2.
Wow.
Was when you mean the call, did you get her as a baby or?
Yeah, we got her as a baby. She was born in the hospital drug exposed. So that's that fun, having a baby that was already addicted to heroin. Not very fun when you go to the pharmacist to get the medication to wean her off of the heroin abuse.
Right.
I got a dirty look from the pharmacist who was like, "Why am I filling this prescription?" I was like, "I'm here to help. This wasn't me."
Wow.
That is crazy. Let me tell Alice you can use her phone. You can use your phone, Alice, if you want. It's easy on that same link. My cousin just adopted a baby, a safe haven baby. I don't know if we talked about that, but it was the same thing. But you have to go through the mothers get like a period of time to take the baby back. So they have the baby for a little bit, but she adopted that baby, and that's what they wanted to do. So
yeah, in the foster care system, the goal is to reunite the kids with the family, but not always the case, because usually if like the mom doesn't work her plan or anything, then it has to move forward with adoption. So in my in my daughter's case, yeah, the mom was a world-class piece of shit. Her biological father's world-class piece of shit. Both of them are still in jail. And yeah, Grandpa was not exactly a nice guy either, because my kid's blonde hair, blue eyed, and he didn't want to take it because there was possibly some black in her, because she had a black boyfriend at one point.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so just don't go the racism card. Just say no, I don't want to take that girl.
Oh
Right.
my god.
Yeah, and the social workers who were just kind of looked at him and was like, no, there's no black in this baby.
God.
Wow.
Oh, there's so much old timey thoughts and stuff. All right, we're gonna try Alice here
Yeah.
again. Let's see. Is that better? Oh yeah, you're not.
Yeah,
Can
much
you hear
better.
us now?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. I know. Fucking laptop sometimes. That's mine was shitty.
Well, and my kid gets on it and downloads everything.
Yeah, they do that.
Welcome, Alice. Do you know everybody here?
I know Hex.
Okay. Hex, Dino, he's in Austria. Eric in Louisiana, and Alex from California. Got Alice in Ohio. Alice, introduce your. Oh,
You're in
sorry.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be in Ohio at the end of the month, and we're throwing a meetup on April 2nd in Dayton.
Dude.
Nice. Circles on the outside, high in the middle.
No. Yeah, you need to go.
Are you gonna, Alice? Are you gonna go try to do that meetup? Is Dayton far for y'all?
Dayton's like 3 hours from me, but let's see if I can get Gonzo to drive me again.
Nice. Jared's thinking about coming too. And the Airbnb I got sleeps 10, so we can.
So really, you could do like 15 or 20.
Probably, but okay. They like
Yeah, you
made a
can
point to
stack 'em
say no parties, and they have security cameras on the premise.
Oh.
So I'm a little bit nervous about
No,
that.
one of those type of hosts.
I know. There weren't a lot of
Sticklers.
options.
Well, they can't get mad about at least 10 people. I'm like, and if there's 10 people in any spot, it's going to be like a party, kind of. To some
Right? That's what I was
Don't
thinking.
don't put a property on Airbnb that sleeps 10 people if you don't want them to have a party.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much.
It's just going to
And then it
happen.
goes all into the definition of what party is. So if you've got 10 people sitting around, they're all drinking and talking. I mean, I guess that could be a party, but
Our parties are not it wasn't too wild. Unfortunately, the last
so
one
not
that we
Tom
did,
Woods 2000 out in the hallway level of party.
it's not that. Unfortunately, the last one we did, the hot tub was broken. It might have gotten a little bit more wild. And this one does not have a hot tub. I looked for one, but it should still be fun and family friendly at the beginning of the night for sure. The last one was family friendly the whole time, although our language probably got a little bit more colorful towards the end of the night
We're all
when we started playing like Cards
While we're
Against
throwing around
Humanity.
that N-word like it was going out of style.
I don't think I dropped that word once during that meetup.
No. Hex is the best person to play Cards Against Humanity with.
It's because he's way
See,
too
that's
nice.
what I should
Or...
have brought to the Tom Woods 2000. I should have brought my Cards Against Humanity set.
That would have been fun.
That would
It
have been
is
really
a
fun.
fun game.
Yeah.
I have another one that's like Cards Against Humanity, but it's like meme Against Humanity. So it's like meme pictures, and then
Yeah, got a
It's
game like
kinda-
that.
yeah, it's kind of fun. Games are fun. I'm going up next weekend. A bunch of libertarians are going up to Steamboat Springs in Colorado because Robbie is doing
Oh,
the
that doesn't
show.
sound fun at all. A bunch of
I
libertarians
know
going
it's
somewhere.
not going to be fun at all, skiing but I'm
Bunch
like,
of
I'm gonna bring
nerds.
games. I'm bringing games because I'm so excited. Because like the family
Yeah.
and like last weekend for the convention, we all bonded.
Let's bring a
obviously.
gaggle of socially awkward people to one location together. Ugh.
Whatever. We're cool. We're the coolest people ever. That's like last week. It was so fun for the convention. Like, sorry I had to cancel last, but like, I was up because it was the time change, and I was telling everyone, I'm like, okay, because the room all of a sudden exploded, and there was a million people in there, and I'm like, oh boy. But I didn't want to say no to anybody, right? So then, like, I'm like, okay, at 3:00. I'm gonna start we'll start shutting it down, and that was at like 1:30. I thought that, but then
Yeah.
it turned 2:00, and then at 2:00 it was 3:00 because of the time change. So I was like, well, I I can't fucking shut it down now. So finally, like 4:30 after the time change. But the hotel never complained once. I was like kind of hoping they would complain too, so I could start kicking people out. But they never fucking complained. So I was like, all right. So at the end of the night, me and if you guys follow Lizzie Lasher, she crashed with me that second night. We were like finally like okay. And then I was at my limit too. I was just like where I like can't even talk anymore. I'm just like, ugh. But it was so fun. I love my like our libertarian friends out here. Everybody's so cool and we swept. The Mises Caucus like has the whole board out here and everything now, pretty much. So
Nice.
Awesome.
killing it,
Do that takeover.
killing it.
I did the LP convention in the California LP one.
I guess
And
that
yeah,
one had to
it
be
was
pretty wild.
it was fun. There were a lot of really upset people. And I at first when I first started doing these meetings, I'd get really uncomfortable at like all the drama, but now I just have to laugh at it.
Oh yeah, because they had someone like passing out those flyers there saying like everyone's Nazis.
2 different flyers. One, I have it over there. It was like, yeah, that we're all Nazis. It had a section about date rape Dave and all these people. And then another one
Lord.
that was
It
like,
was only considered date rape if you got to 13 shots of alcohol.
Yeah.
So if you did 12, you were fine.
right. And then there was a whole nother sheet that was front and back, full wall of text about my friend Adrian. And it was just talking about like how horrible of a person he was. And this one lady who didn't write the papers, but she's on their side, kept getting mad at us because we went around and we like started collecting them from the other seats because they were putting them in all the other seats.
Oh,
So
you're
we started
suppressing
collecting them.
speech. You're being
my-
violent.
And she was like,
Rude.
"How rude!" And then at the beginning of the conference that particular day, when we were about to do business, this person stood up and they were like, "We have these pieces of paper, and someone was picking them up, and we don't know who got them." So a bunch of Mises Caucus people were like, "I need one, I need one," and so they started handing them out to them, and then they started ripping them up very loudly and publicly. And this woman was like, "How rude! How rude!" And I was like, "It's kind of rude to write an entire like friggin' 1-page front and back wall of text slander about someone,
you
but
don't know,
okay."
right?
Right?
And then
No,
putting it out
It
at
was
the
it was in
chairs.
print. It's called libel.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, so is Adrian's the like the Mises Caucus director of California, right? Kind of.
He's the Northern Area Coordinator now. That's what the position he was voted into. And then he's just been helping Angela a lot here to get Mises Caucus people to help take over, different counties. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but he's helping spread the cause.
Nice.
I don't want to get in trouble for saying something wrong.
No, you're fine. That's why I like the Mises Caucus because you can kind of just be or do whatever the hell you want as long as you're like not lame. Could not calling people Nazis and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Right?
I feel like it's not.
I
a
did my
group.
part in 2018. I tried getting Joshua elected as the chair. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm going to Reno. Are you guys going to Reno? Alex, are you going to Reno?
No, it's the same weekend as Childerberg.
Oh, so you're
Yes.
going down there.
Same
Yes.
weekend
Oh
as
yeah,
Childerberg.
you're going to Childerberg too, right, Eric?
yes, I'm the unofficial spokesweasel for Childerberg,
Ooh,
happening
nice.
at the end of May on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
At the
I'll be
Mutual
in Virginia
Bend
then, damn.
recreational area in Spicewood, Texas. So
I don't know what I'm doing. I know. I remember seeing that. And I'm like, well, I'd rather go to Childerberg than Reno. And I'm not a delegate anyway, so it's not like I have to go to Reno. But
yeah, well, you could technically do both. So,
Yeah.
What?
that's true.
No, you can't.
yeah.
because
Why?
some people
How?
are going like Wednesday or Tuesday to Reno, like Tuesday through, I don't know, Saturday.
Is there
the
business
voting.
being done in Reno like before the weekend?
I feel like it is.
It might
Friday is a big day, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, the 2018 convention, we tried to wrap the business portion of it up before the weekend, and we ended up, I think it was like Saturday at like 5 o'clock. We'd wrapped everything up.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. But I know in previous years they were like both in Texas, right? They were kind of close to each other. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be, and then the National Party did the little switcheroo thing where they wanted people to show up online instead of in person. And then they moved it to Orlando and everything.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
And that
that.
was when Nick Sarwark rage quit.
Okay.
What a nerd.
Yeah, fuck
Oh,
that guy.
that guy. That guy. Do you never like feel stupid about shit you do and you're like, God, I was so stupid. And that guy, like, literally how does he live with himself and that, like, not totally embarrassed all the time?
Well, you can go the conspiratorial route, and his handlers just, pat him on the back and say, good job.
Yeah, if he's a fed or something.
And then the less conspiratorial thing is lack of self-awareness.
Which happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah. I mean, just him trying to cut down a sapling with a blunt axe in his flip-flops was, should have been cringe enough to get you off the internet forever, but...
No, not him.
He
No,
might have a
not him.
humiliation kink.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he likes it.
That's what I tell people. Block him, move on. Because if you're not blocking him and you're paying attention to him and you're feeding into it, he's touching himself inappropriately with your negative tweets towards him. So,
When I came back to Twitter after getting banned, I hadn't seen anything from him, and I thought he finally dropped off the face of the earth. And several months later, I see people talking about him again, and I'm like, wait, wasn't there a massive block Nick Sarwark movement?
yeah, Jose Galison.
Right before I got banned.
He started that hashtag, block Sarwark. Yep. And we've moved it into block LP Texas, block Breonna Coyle,
She
just
blocked
block
me.
them and move on.
They blocked me first, and I had
Yeah.
never interacted with them. So
I knew her so before I got Facebook, I randomly, like right before COVID, I was in Anarchist Liberty Facebook, I suppose. So I remember I was friends with her and like was
You're
supportive
still on
of
Facebook?
her.
Get off of there.
I'm not anymore. I've
Good.
been off for over 2 years now. But like that was how I first got in her. Then when I came to Twitter and then I saw her on there and I thought I was friends with her and then all of a sudden I was a Nazi. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm a Nazi.
Yeah,
Even though I was always
you're,
nice to
very
you.
blonde and everything.
That's me. And because I don't want to silence people, I'm a Nazi.
Yeah.
But that's what I said. Those people who like want to just like, who are like, no, we need to silence people completely, blah, blah. And that's like, okay, then that means if you have a stupid idea, you're silenced now. And I think that's why I did blocked her on my original account too. I'm like, okay, well, your idea is stupid. So I'm going to treat you how you want to treat people. I'm going to silence you in my world. So
Yeah,
she's
she
like,
had a good little thing that came up because she was posting something about a libertarian thing, and someone had posted like part of the plank just above her tweet, and was like, "Yeah, you see how these don't fit together?
don't align at all."
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
she reminds me of like if the internet had like created a human in the last like 10 years, that's the human
good.
they would have created is her, like.
Terrible.
What are you gonna do? All right, Babylon. What up, Babylon? And A-dubs. I didn't see you guys. We're so dorky, like libertarians. But I love it, especially after the last 2 years. And I lost so many friends, and now I've gained so many more friends with all this and getting involved. And
So like we can have this pure level of autism. In the German libertarians, there's a lot of times where people will just start discussing things like, this is the true libertarian way. This is how we should do it. If you do this, you're not an individualist. So
right.
it gets a lot of theoretical shit, and
then there's real life.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I think the government actually radicalized more people than some of those groups. Like, one group recently was like, "Oh yeah, the protected areas, like for natural environment and everything. We should get rid of these protective laws and everything." And you're like, from all of the shit that's happening right now, this is what we want to talk about.
Yeah. That's been the all during the whole COVID thing, just all the would have Joe Jorgensen won. I don't know, but we could have got all the religious votes with how they were treating religious, because the Republicans weren't standing up for churches and stuff during COVID. And it's like, we could have had that. We could have whatever. And they're still talking about stupid stuff.
Yeah, I'm not even a religious person. And when they were shutting down churches down here in Baton Rouge, I was even just goading some of my Republican friends. Was like, the freedom of religion is number one.
That's their
and
community.
You're letting them shut it down. So I already know that when it comes to the Amendment 2, you're going to just hand them in. And there was no, yeah, we'll stand up. I was like, they took away number 1. When they come for number 2, you're just going to hand them over. I already know this. I could see it already. They wouldn't get it.
Now you got a lot of people who always go like, "Oh yeah, I totally would have been in the resistance with the Nazis and everything." And we see a lot of things happening right now where it's very obvious that most people wouldn't. Most people. I mean, the thing is, people just comply. It's not even. You need I think 10% of really active people who do something bad. But if everybody else just complies and goes with it, or just go against it, it's still going to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that people need to understand is like, even if it does come to that, you're going to be painted as the bad guy, and you'll be vilified in the news media. So,
Oh, yeah.
Good luck.
And you know how much they love to vilify people who are remotely right of center.
Yeah.
I mean, I would also like literally say if you are actually a little different, and I think if you get these freedom ideas and you go like, I want to do this or this, that means like you don't necessarily feel the need of becoming a bigger part of society. Like, of course, everybody is going to be a part of society, but I don't want to fit in, and that makes you different. This is where they're like,
Yeah.
it's a them.
Yeah, anytime someone like comes up with the homeschool thing, it was like, oh, your kids won't be socialized. And then you just show them like a picture of like all of the raging feminists out there. I was like, this is what your socialized kids look like.
Yeah.
I don't
Or
want
you can
kids
show
socializing
them
with yours.
You can show them a classroom from the past 2 years where they have the fucking
Yeah, the mask
plexiglass
and
around
the
kids'
tents and
desks,
everything
it's
else
like,
on. Yeah.
yeah.
Or just in general, like go through all the records of children being like, public school so great, no mental damage received there.
Yeah, you just show that screenshot of the Google. It's like, why are public schools? And then you just leave the rest of it off, and like all of the top results are like negative stuff. Yeah.
Oh God, I have such a bad joke. I don't know if I should say it, but it's bad. It's very dark humor,
You
but
should
it's
say
good.
it.
Say it.
Definitely.
You haven't played
Come
cards.
on, man. I'm a quarter Sicilian over here. Yeah, I can handle dark humor.
All right, Alec. I mean, I totally understand school shooters. If I went to a public school, I would shoot them up.
Yes.
I wasn't
You
expecting
have done
that.
well.
Okay.
It's true though. I mean, we treat kids so terribly, and then we send them to these day prisons for like up until they're 18, from 5 to 18, sometimes younger.
Yeah, I started
Yeah.
at 4, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, and a lot of times you have to, like,
Why
I
did
think
my
it's
shit
probably
just
this.
drop? Oh,
I
boy.
think it's probably the
Tom
same
Woods.
thing you got in the United States too. Like, you
Came
go
for
to
your
public school,
webcam.
and even if you want to learn as a child, as soon as you start asking critical questions that don't follow what the teachers want to get into you, they get very upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some really bad teachers. I don't have a lot of respect for teachers because most of the ones I've met have been like really dumb, and also like think of themselves super highly, right? So they're like, oh, I'm so important. I do
Oh,
this
boy.
thing that's so noble. And it's like,
Yes.
I think you're actually making it worse. Thanks.
Oh God, like I got to drop a story of when I got into first grade, the classroom teacher we had, she was so freaking horrible. Like she had a phobia of men. She was coming to us boys and being like, drop your testosterone driven things and be more like the
I'll be right back.
girls. I mean,
Oh, no.
this lady was totally crazy, and she was allowed to be a teacher. She was legit crazy.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Alice, is homeschooling still going good for you?
Yeah. My son though, he's gonna be interesting. But my daughter, she went to public school for up until third grade or through third grade. But my son, he's never been to public school, so it's just like kind of all on me to get him started. So this part is new to me. But my daughter's doing great. Like she struggled in math and now she's doing really good in math.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they push them through so quickly that they don't have time to perfect anything. So even if you're struggling in math, they'll put you to the next grade and then you're just struggling even more because you weren't ready to be in that next level. So when we started homeschooling, we just kind of went back with math and now she's like learning the basics again instead of, calculus in sixth grade.
Have you heard of Unschool?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we do. When, like, in Ohio, it's a right to educate state. So
Nice.
all I have to do is I send in a few worksheets to a Ohio certified teacher. She signs it off. I fill out a thing that says pretty much we homeschool our kids in a way that they're guiding us. We'll teach them the basics, but when it comes to everything else, like they'll guide us. They'll show us what they're interested in. Kids learn more when they're interested. They
Can
do.
confirm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we don't have like formal school hours or anything like that. And the best part about homeschooling is it's your schedule. It's not the public school schedule that you're on anymore.
Yeah, the math thing, they want everyone behind so that by the time you get to college, then you have to pay for unaccredited remedial math classes just to get into college. So you can pay. That's the like big scam they got going on right now. Or it
Yeah,
seems
at
like it.
LSU,
Oh,
all of their new entries, the new kids that come to the LSU, they all have to take remedial English, remedial math, because they didn't get it in high school.
It's
So
like, okay, yeah, good thing
you're
we
just
were.
graduating functionally retarded people.
Yeah.
It's like good thing they went to school for all those 12 years to not be
Yeah.
ready. Like, makes no sense.
well, I struggled in math, but I could still, like, when I worked at my jobs, I could make change without the register. You know what I mean? Like, if
Basics.
yeah, and kids don't even understand that, but they break down this common core in their head, and it's the most complicated thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, the Common Core stuff, like when my son brought it home, because
It's
he was in
retarded.
public school for just a little bit, and I was sitting there looking at it, I was like, I understand what they're trying to do here, but they're going about it the wrong way.
Right. Everybody learns differently. I liked my daughter's one teacher because she told the kids, I'll teach you different ways, you know, but it's up to me as a teacher to figure out what works best with you, not force something upon you.
Right.
Like when we were in Cleveland and then we moved to the burbs, and it was horrible.
Cleveland.
My daughter learned more in Cleveland school than she did in her fancy suburban school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is she a
so
part of CMSD by chance?
Yeah, she went to,
Wow.
Garfield, right by John Marshall.
Right.
Oh, she went to that school. Now, I hated the principal, and I got the principal fired from that school.
Ooh, Alice.
Nice.
But her teachers were awesome. They would break the kids up into groups. So, if, when she was in kindergarten through second, she went there. So they would break the kids up into groups. So if you struggled with math, you'd go to Mr. D's class for a little bit. If you struggled with reading, you would go to a different teacher's class for a little bit. So the kids all had time to focus on the things that they were struggling on, but not missing out on regular class. And all the teachers and the grades worked together, whereas in North Royalton, they didn't do that. Yeah.
I want to shout out Randy in the chat. He says, when your algebra is terrible, but your weight conversions are on point.
Hey, he's got a point. he's totally got a point.
The math that matters. Yeah, my sister was just recently teaching. Well, she was a teacher for a little bit in her life, but then the last couple of years she just worked part-time, and she was just basically a math tutor, but in school. And I mean, she had a full class all the time, and it was like, okay, so what, we have all these, it was for the people who needed extra help, so it was like good they had that kind of thing going on, but she just moved. So
it's a growth industry down here. Every time I turn around, someone's bought up some little strip mall place, and they're doing like math and English tutoring in there. So
yeah, there was a company called Linda Mood Bell. Like, there's all these companies.
I worked for Linda Mood Bell. I had a friend of mine who was the director at the one in Las Vegas.
My mom was a director for one out here too.
No way. Yeah, and so I worked at the one in Las Vegas for a while.
Oh, nice. It was kind of a cool system. Like it seemed to really work.
Yes, kind of. My thing is, I actually I don't like the idea of in trying to. So okay, the way Linda Mood Bell works is they would offer incentives, usually positive incentives for kids to perform, and I'm just against that. And I'm also against coercive education. So I feel like even kids are going to learn what they need to learn when they're ready to learn it. We don't have to push reading or math or history or anything down their throats, and trying to do that at too early of an age will often result in them either rejecting it or learning whatever they think that they have to pass, to get the positive reinforcement, which is the A or the good job, and then forget it or not apply it in any meaningful way.
Okay.
And I mean, like we see what learning from history actually does. Like we're still printing money, and it never works.
Right.
Just want to say that there's a reason.
There's people
that,
out there that still have hammer and sickles in their avatar name on
Yeah.
Twitter. So I mean,
Oh, like this is the reason why Germany is too socialist. What? No, it's officially not socialist. Like it's totally free market.
Just want to point out that there's a reason that our, I guess, government adopted the Prussian model of education.
oh yeah, gotta have
Yes.
good little worker bees that don't ask a bunch of questions.
Exactly.
So did everyone here go to public school?
Yeah.
I went to everything. I did public, private, and homeschooling for a while. And I even went to boarding school for high school.
I did homeschooling for a year, but that's kind of when I started getting lazy.
I had to go.
I was public school all the way.
Yeah,
all
I
the
had to
way.
go through public school all the way too, and it was a lot of hell.
And I will say, between the few public school systems that I did, I enjoyed Texas the most.
You
Nevada
enjoyed
had like a weird system where you would go to school for 9 weeks at a time, and then you would take a week off. It was kinda weird.
yeah, the year-round school. They do that some of the schools out here in Colorado too.
I don't know. I guess it was kind of nice just having that.
This is me all the
week off
time. I
every now
ask
and then.
this question all the time. Is it effect or effect?
I do that too.
Constant.
One has the effect, and the other you're trying.
I
to
will
perfect.
I will just avoid it if I like can't figure it out. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna rewrite this sentence out because I don't know. Public school, and it was so. My dad is like a dad joke dude, and I remember growing up, he would always like say,
Hey, I'm a dad joke
public
dude.
school. He would always joke, "Oh, I went to public school. And I didn't get it as a kid." And I'm like, "Oh, I get it now." Like, it's so funny. I don't know how I made it, but I went through public.
Yeah, I don't know
school.
how I made it either.
I didn't go to college though. I think that was helpful for me.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of the world.
Like
College
I was
just
so,
isn't for everybody.
I was
I
so
went for
done
a
after
semester.
I was so
Okay.
done after school, and then I just started working, and now I'm listening to some lectures.
I've learned way, especially the last year, especially like I found out I had a friend who was like a legitimate communist who's my age, and he got it from college basically. And then now I'm learning so much not going to college about neo-Marxism and shit, just online. Like it's
Yeah.
great.
Right.
Shout out to James Lindsay. He's so awesome about teaching about
Yeah.
that stuff.
See, I'm 42, so I didn't even start getting into economics until a few years ago. And then if I would have like gone back to my 18-year-old self, I was like, oh yeah, by the way, learn economics, I would have like punched myself in the face. I was like, get out of here, old man.
I did economics in college because it was like baby math, and math was always easy for me. So like
Look at
I didn't
Alex
have to
flexing over
study very hard to pass those tests. I just partied and was like, oh yeah, this is easy.
there. I was like that in chemistry in high school. I actually
wow.
slept in the class. I got permission from the teacher. That made us figured in there.
Which is a terrible
in
thing.
10 minutes.
Right? Like it's just that's kind of, it tells you what a student's incentive is, right? Kind of do
Right.
the least amount of work possible to get the greatest reward.
Yeah, and then when we switched to organic chemistry, like everybody's grades in that class dropped, and mine was the only one that stayed 100. And
Wow.
she was like, I don't understand. You sleep in the class. I was like, I don't know. I just see it.
That's the kind of student I was overall for most things.
Yeah, you got glasses. Go.
And you're an engineer now, right, Eric? Basically.
No, I am not an engineer. Don't curse me with that. I'm on the design side. So I'm
Okay.
in civil engineering. So I take whatever's in the engineer's head and try to put it out on paper.
Okay. You have to make it like work in real life.
Yes, I have to model everything, 3D model everything. And so like anytime that someone brings up, oh, we've got a 3D model, a computer model, and I was like, okay, you've got a cartoon. Fantastic, because those things aren't accurate at all.
What? You mean the COVID modeling and stuff like that wasn't accurate?
Oh, just anything. Climate modeling,
What?
COVID modeling, it's all just made up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like also like when we're talking about economics and about models like that, there's also like the baseline stuff you have to understand about logistics, transport, transport. Then how the teams work, how companies set up, HR annoying the shit out of you. Some great people with theories and ideas that totally don't work.
Yeah. Yeah, I did an apartment complex design down in Florida, and the fire department down there was all upset. It was like, well, we can't turn our fire trucks around in the way you've got it set up. So I had to like actually build a fire truck model and show them. I was like, no, it'll go around.
Oh shit! Like for my planning, I have a fun story. In Germany, at one point, they wanted to build a bridge somewhere, and the bridge was supposed to connect two streets, which they've built already, and they fucked up so bad that the streets didn't connect at all.
Oh man,
It's just like billions
Someone got
fucking
fired.
wasted. No,
I
they
don't know.
don't.
Public
they don't.
works. I mean, you might have failed upwards and got a pay raise and a new job and everything.
Pretty much.
Right.
It's true. All the I was reading out here, like the Colorado Department of Transportation, the gal who was ahead of it for a while, had just graduated college, and her dad knew Obama or something at the time.
Hey,
It's like
nepotism. Gotta love it.
super highly qualified.
Nepotism always works. It's so good.
I really don't have a problem with nepotism as long as the person benefiting from the nepotism actually knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in a family business, obviously, if they've been working in it since they were a kid or something, then it would make sense for them to be a part of it.
But if you're going to send me
at the top.
somebody's cousin who can't, distinguish the difference between their asshole and a hole in the ground, then I'm all against it.
You should know the difference between your asshole and a hole in the ground. That should basics.
You'd be surprised.
Yep.
I was going back to the economy. I took a really good economy class in just public high school, and we started a business. We were selling cookies at lunch, and we had to do the whole thing. I'm like, wow, it was like a real economy class at that time. So I was thankful for that.
Yeah, in the 90s we had FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America.
Yeah, remember that shit.
Selling cookies in the high school.
And then FFLA out here is big, Future Farmers, or FFA, Future Farmers of America.
Yep,
They
I
were
mean,
doing
too.
shit too.
I mean, selling cookies in high school, it's still kind of a business model.
Yeah, we had to learn how to the money we made to buy the next batch of dough, and we had to go cook them, and it was the
Oh
whole.
no, I'm talking about the other cookies.
Oh,
I
I wish.
was
I
just
was a
thinking the
good
same
kid.
thing.
Yeah, in high school, that was in the 90s, so it was a bunch of bricks coming from Mexico that they found down in a ditch, and they compressed it all. Yeah, no.
I know nowadays it's so different. I was taught once we legalized out here, I'm like, no, kids not that. I mean, I started smoking when I was 19, so it was early 2000s. But
You haven't lived
they
until
have
you've
no
taken
idea.
a hammer and chisel to a brick.
Yeah, or
to get
calling
to get an
people.
eighth L.
Just calling people constantly trying to get it, and then they're flaking, and I'm like, these people do not even know the struggles it took just to get some shit weed once in a while, it's just so funny now. I literally drive right down the street, and it's like Willy Wonka. I open the door, it's oh, all this pot products and stuff. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that'd be another thing. Go back to my 18-year-old cell phone. It's like, oh, by the way, in the future,
Do you
weed
need
will practically be legal everywhere.
Yeah, get in on the consulting and shit. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Because every time, every state that, once Colorado figured it out, and then all the people from here who had it figured out went and consulted everybody else once they started, and they made fucking fake.
Except
They didn't even have-
No.
Even worse for engineering, because now they figured out how to press the product to get all the CBD oil and everything out of
Oh
it.
yeah, they have everything nowadays. It's crazy. Who would have thought? Even
Yeah, one of them had to go to Italy to find out how they pressed olives for olive oil, and then converted that design to press pot out to get the CBD oil.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. It's very sciencey. I mean, people are now, you can go to, there's because agriculture is big out here, and I know they have horticulture stuff that's specifically just for marijuana now. So
I think it's funny. Alice's kid is showing the glasses off every few minutes and is trying to get
does
up
she
on
like
the
my,
shelf.
is it because I have glasses on? Does she like, she sort of?
I think he's trying to show. He's keep showing. I have glasses too.
Aw.
You got a bunch of nerds in the stream.
You're hungry. You ate 3 oranges and a bowl of cereal.
It sounds like me when I was younger.
Oh my gosh, my daughter said the other day, she's like, how does he eat so much and never gain weight? And I'm like, because he never stops moving. Ever.
It's constant movement, and
Yeah.
it catches up.
Yeah. completely different than my daughter. My daughter would get like a stack of books and come sit with you. And
Just read.
That's how my oldest is. My oldest is constantly moving, and I think he was born with it, because when I was pregnant with him, I kept telling my husband at the time that he moves more than most kids. And he was like, how could you say that? You've never been pregnant before. And I said, it's because the questions that the doctors ask you, like, oh, do you feel 10 movements in an hour? If I felt that little movement, I would be worried about him. Like I would just like poke my belly and he would like kick back immediately. It was crazy. And then I was pregnant with my second, and I was like, okay, this is what like normal movement, quote unquote, normal movement is supposed to feel like.
My daughter, she was my first, and she would stretch her feet and like up. But like, she moved. But my son, he never stopped moving. He sat on my bladder the whole time. I mean, he never stops.
I love it. This is the most family-friendly stream I've done. It's cute.
So far.
So far.
We'll get there.
Hex hasn't dropped the hard R, so we're doing good.
You really have to be worried about me dropping the hard R, just saying.
I'll pay you $350 to drop it right now.
my YouTube channel's still up. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're after the 5-minute mark. Allegedly, that's the thing that the algorithm looks for, right? So
Yeah.
When I'm like, if a black guy says it, they shouldn't be able to pull it off. So they have to.
Well, I did get banned from Twitter.
I'm a quarter Sicilian. Hello.
But between you and me, yeah, we're like full black people.
I think Unicorn Daddy was passing out passes there for a while on Twitter.
Yeah, he was. Oh, like shit, we were thinking about one day about doing NFTs of like the N password and to sell them.
That's funny.
At the fundraiser last night, it's a little bit of a change of subject, but at the fundraisers, they auctioned off some concert tickets, but to go to the event, you had to be vaccinated, and like no one bid on it. And then eventually they were like, all right, with it comes 2 free vaccination cards.
That's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're still like, so all this mandates and stuff has pretty much dropped in Colorado, but some of the like venues are still requiring it. And so the where I used to go dancing like once a month for 5 years, obviously I hadn't since March 2020, but it looked like on their, like, it looks like they're still requiring it or something. And I'm like, but they might not be. I have to figure it out. But then I'm like, I don't want to give businesses to these bitches too. Like,
definitely don't.
Yeah.
And then believe them when you see them in public.
Alex, remember that tabletop arcade we went to and they were mass Nazis?
Yes. Yes, they were worse than the people in California. Okay, so like I went to Ohio, to Columbus. We did this meetup, and the next day we went out to breakfast, and then we went to this like game cafe to like hang out before Gonzo could, because Gonzo was like picking up Hex. And normally, so what I do, I like troll people here in California. So I'm like super autistic about it, and I'll just go in without a mask. And they'll be like, oh, do you have a mask? And I'll just be like, oh yeah, thanks, or no, whatever it is. And if I say no, sometimes they'll give it to me, and like I'll put it in my pocket, and I'll say, oh, thank you. And it's so rare that they literally say like, you have to put it on. But in this case, they were like, you have to wear a mask. I was like, okay. And she was like, now. I was like, okay. She's like, right now. So I put it on. I put it under my nose. And she's like, you have to put it up over your nose. And I was like, okay. She's like, right now. I was like, okay. It was like so crazy. She was so explicit about it. And they don't even do that here. I kind of think it's because Ohio is probably a little bit more red than here. So they're shocked. Like, oh, someone's doing something I'm not expecting. But maybe they get more pushback. So they're like used to, I don't know, being confrontational about it.
I haven't even seen that here up in Cleveland. And I had to joke because I told the story before of the girl I knew who worked at the tea shop who, when COVID happened, she got it early on and then just turned complete COVID Nazi. Apparently she left that tea shop, moved down to Columbus around that same time. So I joked that she probably moved there and brought her COVID Nazi energy with her.
Probably, dude. And then you guys were at the bathroom, and I was at the table.
I went to the bathroom. Yeah,
and then
I came back.
And then I like pulled it down under my nose, and this other lady from behind the counter was like, "Ma'am, you have to put it up over your nose." And I was like, "What?" Like I was like, "Jesus Christ!" Like I cannot
over my
get these
nose,
people
my
to
shirt,
remember
and then
me.
you just lift up and flash.
And then it
everybody.
sucks because we both wear glasses, and you put it over your nose, your shit just gets foggy as hell, and it's like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I said that too. I often say that. I'm like, I have glasses, I can't see, and they're like. One time here in California, actually, I was getting my nails done, and she told me to put it up over my nose. Told me to put it on. I did. I put it under my nose. She told me to put it up over. I was like, I can't see. She's like, I wear glasses and I can see. It's like, okay.
Do you see what? Are they in the room right now?
Eventually, I put it up over my nose. My glasses started fogging. I was like, they're fogging, and she was like, no, they're not. I was like, I left it up over my nose for a
trying to
minute, and then I
gaslight
took
you
it
at the
back
same
down
time?
again.
I love it.
It really
so
did
weird.
spark like the most teeny bit of authoritarianism. If a person had just that teeny bit in them, man, they just got fucking woke up over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, turn into petty tyrants pretty
And
quickly.
it made me like question anytime like I've been like sometimes my neighbors park their cars stupid or whatever. Not that I would ever call them in or anything, but I'm like I don't care. I don't even think about it anymore because like I don't want to be that person at all. Like done with it. No more Karen at all. Not that I was really, but.
Well, that reminds me of some of those neighbors. Like you have, everybody has these neighbors who all of no, like I think that actually might be a German thing. Like if you live in Germany and you kind of have to take care about the sidewalk in front of your house, even as a tenant. And so we didn't cut away some nice flowers that were growing there, and the neighbor was super upset about it. Like, that's not good. I might call the police.
Always someone like that. Like,
yeah, the weirdest shit is like if actually somebody needs help or there's an emergency, these people are the first to not help.
Dude.
The first ones to get in the way. That's for damn sure.
Well,
I had a
somebody got in
neighbor.
an accident. Let's run.
I have a neighbor here in my apartment complex that's like diagonal across from me. And I got a letter like under my door one day. And it was like, we know you called the police on us because there's like no one underneath them. And it wouldn't make sense for the people above them. And they have no other neighbors who are at the end of the line, right? And I guess someone called the police on them. And they were like, next time, just like tell me, like text me or something. So, and I had to.
That's why you reply with
there.
the note under their door. It's like, I'm an anarchist. Fuck.
That's what I did. I knocked on their door and they didn't answer, and so they left me their phone number. So I texted them, was like, "Dude, I'm an anarchist. I would never call the police on anyone unless like."
And then you send them and then you find NWA's "fuck the police" under their door.
Right. I was like, "Fuck that." I was like, first of all, I didn't hear you. Second of all, that was super shitty of someone to do. So I don't know who did it, but like it wasn't me.
Did they respond to you after you said that?
Yeah, they were like, "Okay, you seem cool." Like I think I ended the text saying like, "Next time, invite me over." Like I'll come
Right,
party
if you're
with you.
partying, hello.
It's like, yeah, I'm not a collaborator with the regime. Thanks.
No.
I ain't the Gestapo.
Nope.
All right, y'all. I gotta jump because I gotta go do dead stuff. But thanks for having me on Forest Mama,
Yeah,
you guys.
thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at RWAC Podcast, listed on my thing there. So I'll see you guys.
Will do.
Bye, Eric.
Have fun.
Peace.
Yeah, Waffle. He's on Instagram mostly. Unicorn Daddy. I don't think he's on Twitter at all anymore.
Unicorn Daddy is not on Twitter anymore. I haven't seen his stuff in a while.
Yeah, but he does post a lot on Instagram.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not on Instagram.
I'm on it, but I don't go. Well, now I used to not go on it. I still had it, but then all these normie friends would be attacking me all the time, of course. But like all of them have unfollowed me, and then I've let Liberty people follow me now. So now it's more fun to go on Instagram. I know there's still some people who are like, "This bitch," but I was right all along. I've been right all the fuck along. So now I'm like, don't even like London. Don't even. Oh, he says hi.
And there's
Go Go
there's
ahead.
going to be a lot more of this, like, oh, I've been right about this and that and blah blah blah. Like, I think for the past 5 years or something, I called so basically everything that has happened in Europe right now, and it's like super funny to see it. And
Come on.
I'm with Germany. I'm definitely gonna have this Schadenfreude thing because I hate that country because I had to grow up there. And now like in 2011, I was already like, yeah, guys, you got to worry about infrastructure, about the streets and shit like that. And they were like, no, 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 let's do these super important political things where we can praise ourselves and be the best ever. And like, yeah, but you still need streets that work. And that's becoming a problem now. Like a lot of bridges are probably going to even be built down, and that's going to be bad business.
Yeah. Dino, so you're in Austria?
Yeah, I am.
Did I read somewhere that they like made it illegal to be unvaccinated there?
They try to do it now. It's kind of a thing. Like, the situation with the government here is that there was a scandal, which turned out to kind of not be a scandal, and so the elected government was legitimated, and now they just have the replacement government. But we have so many people stepping down. We are at our third chancellor.
Wow.
And the Minister of Health stepped down recently. The new one is even worse. So like it's a lot of bad shit.
Oh my
And
God.
with the entire COVID thing, like when we went to Hungary yesterday, we went back to Austria, and in Hungary they don't fucking care. Like you have no border control, nothing. And back in they have this border control that is just for checking if you have like your proof of vaccinated, tested, or cured. And you could see that the police man who did, like the cop who had to do it, like he was not having a good time. I can definitely imagine he hates every fucking day he has to go to the border and do that.
Wow.
And on the other hand, we still have like the refugee roads, like over the Balkan, they stayed open the entire time. And these people can come in without passports and obviously without vaccinations, tests, and anything. Like, all right, if you do that, then don't do any mandates or anything at all because it's going to be pointless, or you really close the borders down. And yes, that even counts for refugees, like get them tested or whatever. But don't do it like this. But no, it's still happening.
Wow.
Is there a lot more coming up to like a lot more from the Middle East going up north? Refugees?
It's definitely been increasing. Like the city I moved into and was in 2019 and had definitely less people. And obviously, like not everybody who's from Afghanistan or some Middle Eastern country is going to be an asshole. Like not everybody. Problem is there are enough assholes actually who do their culture. So like we have these parallel cultures that are happening, and it's becoming a bigger problem. Like the one thing I noticed recently was something that was in Germany. It's definitely normal. Like you walk down the street, and then you have these groups of like 5 young men or maybe 3, and they just start to look at you in a way like it's not there where they totally start to provoke you, but if they see a little bit of weakness, they might try to get into a fight with you. But if it's going to the German level, it's going to be the point where they actually random start attacking you. Maybe not to kill you, but just to get in a fucking fight. And if that happens, like probably get out of it because they will remember your face. They will bring a lot more people, and they will literally try to just destroy you for the shit of it.
How did humans get this far? Like, like now some can't get along with each other, and I'm like, how the fuck did we get to this point? Because humans have moved across this globe for fucking ever. Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, if you have a culture that actually wants to has the claim that they have the only right thing and everything, and sees the culture we have here as a problem, and they don't want to be part of it, like some people obviously want to do. That there's no problem with that. But if you have that, it's weird. Like there are even social things where you have like you have to work with people who barely spoke German, and the problem is that they don't know about their rights. So a lot of times we have like let's say they work in a post office, they might possibly sign a contract that is way below minimum wage. And the book holdings, they're going to ignore it because you kind of have to transport shit all over the way. So they kind of try to wing it. and ignore some of the problems. And these people obviously work for an amount of money that's not enough to live, so they get frustrated. But they also are too proud to ask for help. And if they get help, they are not grateful. It's actually, they kind of expect people to owe it to them. It's a weird fucking thing.
Humans are weird.
Yeah. I mean, the basic lesson from this is like, if ask for help and put some fucking effort into it.
Well, that's what's so hard about, like, I don't know, people who can have a more anarchist kind of view, because we think in our mind, well, everyone basically wants the same thing. You know, they want
Okay.
to live happy, healthy, be able to work, whatever. But then, like, when we, even though the culture is basically all want the same thing, like, they just have such a hard time assimilating sometimes, even though, like, they basically want the same thing, but it's all that stupid, the culture shit, you know?
It's part of it, definitely. I mean, this is why Hungary was a little bit more relaxed. Like, Hungary definitely is a more racist country, especially towards people from the Middle East. But the advantage of that is like it's a lot more safe, especially for even for guys, it's a little bit dangerous, and for women. A friend of mine is currently in Budapest for like a semester or something, and she is just so freaking happy. I mean, first thing, like, there's basically no fucking COVID business at all, so nobody fucking cares. Now they officially dropped the mask mandates too, so it's pretty chill there. And the other problem you don't have either. Well, sure, you got some troublemakers and you have problems, but it's definitely a difference if you have these problems or, you know, society problems, drug addicts, people stealing shit. That will always happen.
Yeah, fucking humans. But we all have it in us, but we're all good because we don't go bound to that. Right? Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say. So you said you're moving here to the U.S.
I'm planning to let's see how things would go. I'm definitely wanting to get more experience as in carpentry, so I can just change over to the field. But right now, I have to remain in logistics until I get a car.
Wait, you have to what?
I still have to work in shipping, logistics, like forklift driving and everything, because I have experience and I don't have a car, and they're offering a lot of jobs in the field right now. Although I want to get into carpentry, but.
Did you say you're waiting until you get a car?
Yeah,
to drive?
Yeah, I need a license and a car, and I have to save up for that. So.
Oh, okay. Before you move here.
No. To work as a carpentry helper or in carpentry, because a lot of businesses, like a lot of jobs, are just for you if you have a car. I mean, which makes sense. Like, you gotta get somewhere, you gotta get to the customers. It's not gonna be always reliable to use public transport and shit.
Okay, I see. So you're waiting till you get a car so you can get to a better place in your job now where you are, and then use those skills to then come here?
Exactly. And I mean, obviously, working, and then like the entire goal is also to get into a small carpentry place and get the connections to have, you know, the weekend jobs and everything, which just makes saving money a lot easier.
Oh, shout out. Hey, Jessica in the chat. I just saw Jessica. Yeah, we need tradespeople here, so anyone.
Everybody needs tradespeople. It's the same shit here. It's I've heard so many things. Like, when I'm told some people, they were like, "Oh, they're looking like crazy for these people." Like, I'm gonna call some stores on like tomorrow to ask them if they are looking for somebody and if they would be willing to hire someone who doesn't have a car and a license yet.
Yeah, that does make it. That was the cutest laugh. That does make it hard. Like, they're always like, "Do you have good transportation? If not, there was."
Yeah, just figuring it out. And Mommy, it's not gonna get less. Like, a lot of places are closing. It's still not enough people getting back into the trades. When it comes to Europe, like, a lot of people won't open up their own business because of the freaking real estate prices. Like, I've got something loaded up here, like some real estate company. Let's check, like, this new house here. With what data is it? It's like 4 rooms, a little bit of a garden, but not much. So it's like 120 square meters of space you can use, and the base space is 371 square meters, and the price for this is 300, almost 400K.
In American dollars or?
No, in euro. I think in America. Let me convert that real quick.
Yeah, man, real estate's crazy. It's so fucking
Yeah.
expensive everywhere. Now in America, it's everywhere too. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Everything's so expensive right now.
And just like
I know, right?
in such high demand too. I mean, like even in like podunk areas in the South, they're like shit's selling so fast. And
All right. In US dollar, this house would be 400,000.
Oh, that sounds cheap right now to me.
just to California.
Yeah, in California, I can imagine. But if you would
Just-
compare it to some other places, it's still not a good deal.
Yeah, and so I just had a closing, and it they ended up paying $360 for like a 2-bedroom condo, which is still not quite California, but that's not what Colorado used to be. I'm still like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you have to pay that
$360 for a
much.
condo is a lot, because
Is
then
it?
you're
Yeah.
like, you have an HOA, you have
Yeah.
neighbors like on every side of you. You don't actually have control over your land or have a yard.
Yeah, and like 360 used to get people like, I should be able to get you a freaking like house.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Yep.
Oh, let me check some of the fun things then. Like we have some condos going for very, very fun prices. So here we got this condo which has like 44 square meters and goes for 160k euro, which is gonna be like close to 200k.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Tea
like,
waffle.
it's like hard for people just to get their, like I've had so many clients just give up. They just give up. They're just trying to get their fucking foot in the door, and they're like, they give up and it's been crazy in Colorado since legalization. So as long as I've been licensed, I've had like, I would have way more money, but I have a lot of clients that just give up because they can't buy, they're competing against, which I'm free market. I believe in free market, but like you had all these like flipping people coming in, and like half all my clients are like, I don't want a fucking gray IKEA kitchen. I don't want to pay 100 grand more for a fucking gray IKEA kitchen that a flipper did, so there's like, you're competing against that shit. And like, and then the BlackRock stuff is real, like that's real, and all these companies buying up all these houses, and it's just, it's sad.
It's happening here too, and then you also got like obviously the inflation and the central banks printing money ain't good, and we got my favorite topic, like the Chinese independent investors that are totally not doing things for the CCP.
Fucking CCP, yeah, Jessica, exactly. Like you just can't, like it's just so hard to start. Like I feel bad for people I mean, I never wanted a family, so it wasn't like terrible for me, but I'm like, how did, like, there's no way, because I was able to move out right before everything got too crazy, but like literally then 07, 08 happened, and then like everyone's just been like fucked since then, It's crazy. Hey,
But people,
Cyborg.
but to be honest, like people are stupid enough to still buy in on that. Here, I recently read something. There was a couple writing like, "Oh yeah, we got 500k in savings, which is very good, obviously." And they were like, "Should we get a house?" And like, we could get a loan. I was like, if you cannot get a fucking house for 500k, don't get the fucking loan, even if you can afford it. Like, don't support these prices.
And who knows what's going to
It's so
happen
hard
when they
though.
raise rates and all this shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
I mean, the problem is, like, if you're thinking about what you can do to insulate yourself from the worst case scenario, then getting land that can grow food is probably a good idea. Which it sucks, yeah. Because it's so expensive. But like when there's food shortages,
Yeah. I mean, probably it would be a good idea to actually get a couple of people going and have a small community, maybe getting a farm or something like that. I think you could still make the money for that. I have a couple of friends who already talk about it, and we will check it out over the next few years, so I can come over, visit, and we have to, obviously you got to check out if the chemistry works with the people, because you're basically going to buy land for the rest of your life and live with these people.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to I want to make a homestead with a polycule, because I'm poly. So I just like want a place, a land where like we can grow food and have a bunch of kids running around, and we all have a similar philosophy to raising those children and politics, like, and yeah, I don't know.
I mean, part of me is just also like I want to get out. I don't know if I will get back into dating or anything. I've been out for it for a couple of years now, and I just want to live with good people, good friends, and have a nice fire, and in the evening watch the stars, and
Yep.
not care about society anymore. Like I'm so done.
Yep. Yeah, the homestead idea works without the polycule as well.
Yeah, it totally does. And I mean, as I said, like you got to find the right people, and yeah, that would be a good idea. And I have this kind of thought process. We would probably go into Tornado Alley somewhere.
To go where?
Tornado Alley, because it's just like Tornado Alley has some of the best states when it comes to some certain laws.
I have no idea what you just said.
Tornado Alley.
Yeah,
Where's Tornado Alley?
It's like
it's a group of states where tornadoes happen often.
Like Alabama. I used to live in Alabama. There were a bunch of tornadoes there.
Oh yeah, Alabama, North, the Carolinas are in it, and then you got obviously like a little bit of Florida, Texas.
Nice. Okay, I lived in Texas, and my sister's I think my sister's going to move to Florida soon, and my dad lives there now.
So
Tornado Alley.
Yeah, it's called that. Like there's a high risk of that, but I think it also kind of keeps the prices a little bit down because you just have this random factor of like, yes, your house can get trashed by a tornado.
Oh God. Yeah, they just the thing is, okay, so I used to live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and we lived in a very old house, and we had tornadoes every single year, and it would just tear neighborhoods apart. But I think it was the way that the land was situated, the topography of the land, because the tornadoes would always go through the same spots. So even though they were just a few miles away from us, we always went to the basement during the morning because we'd hear the siren and treat it like it was an emergency, but it never hit our neighborhood.
That's good. Yeah, I think a lot of tornadoes actually are happening in open field. Obviously, it's always a disaster when it doesn't, and it actually hits a community city.
Mm-hmm. There's some areas they hit more than others, though.
Yeah. I mean, if they hit trailer parks, that's horrible. Obviously,
it is. Yes.
You're talking about trailer parks?
Oh no, I was talking about that I have this kind of theory that the real estate prices in Tornado Alley are still kind of okay-ish because you just have this kind of factor you cannot calculate, which keeps the prices down a little bit.
This is totally random, but going off of that, another little research thing I went down on because I like to see who owns shit, and I found that there's this one company, and I don't know where they're from. They might be Chinese, I don't know. But they own a shit ton of RV parks and trailer parks in America, all over. And there's this one in Colorado that I'm I swear it's going to be the FEMA camp because it used to be a little 8K away campground. And then they expanded it and put in a bunch of little tiny homes and then more camping and shit. And I'm and it's right off the rail line. So I'm I swear they're going to ship us down there and shit. I wish I could find out who because it's all registered under agents here in America running them, but I can't find who it is. And I'm who is this person? Why would this company own all these trailer parks and RV parks? It's just a little weird.
That sounds very sketchy.
I know. I was fuck, man.
I mean, my tinfoil's pointing towards China, obviously. That's always going to be my answer. I have this new philosophy of myself where I'm saying, okay, basically every big political topic definitely will have connection to China. China's got to grow something out of it and cause more trouble for everybody else. And usually I'm right about it. There was this, still love to tell, there was this thing they decided in Germany and the European Parliament is probably going to jump up there on that too, kind of demanding that houses should have solar panels. And I was who's the biggest supplier for solar panels on the European continent? Oh, it's a Chinese-based company.
Right. Yeah, and then people don't understand the solar, how it's just as bad on the environment in the end. It's great to have a little bit of a solar backup on your house and stuff, but overall, that's just shit's going crazy with that. And on the selling in the real estate side, I've had deals literally almost blow up because of fucking solar leases and stuff. And it's for Christ's sake, they're better about it now, but it's just weird. They didn't have it figured out.
Wow.
That's some fun stuff.
Let's see, video forest land. I do like I wish so. Colorado, a bunch of people in Colorado, like back in Colorado should have been logged. It's pine, but you can use pine for things. But like back in the 80s, because if you go to like logged forests in Wisconsin and stuff, they're still beautiful forests. It's not like they clear cut, And so Colorado should have had people going. I don't know why I'm talking about this now. Sorry, but like Colorado should have had logging going through, but they didn't. And then we got all these diseases came through and just killed all these trees. And so then we had all these dead trees just sitting there for 10 years. And then there's there's fires, and like everything's always compounding where it's like, and these environmentalists were against, but mitigating is healthy for forests and like logging is healthy. And you had these like the same thing as now is the people who say, oh, we need to do this and that are people who never fucking even go outside. It's the same kind of shit.
A friend of mine lives in California, and I think a friend of his parents who own land and wasn't right in the area where the fires was, but earlier that year they actually cleared out a lot of the things that sticks that would be on the ground to dry and everything like so, and they basically did the thing that rangers used to do, and it worked. Nothing burned down on that property. Everything else around it, though.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's when you have a healthy forest, some grass and some undergrowth can grow, and then that's like when a fire moves through, you want it to just like go along that stuff and just move quickly so that it doesn't catch but when you have all this down timber or just dead tree stand, like even so my forest, like from the time we moved there in 1990 to now, it's like a completely different forest because we've cleaned it up, and like there's grass growing in it now and it's like super beautiful. But now I'm like, oh, I need to plant more. But we luckily didn't have the pine beetle too bad. But actually, this is random, but right on the foothill right behind our house, there's a bunch of Douglas fir forest. So there's like, it goes Douglas fir and then it kind of goes into ponderosa. But there's this moth called the tussock moth, which lays a caterpillar, obviously. And they like went nuts. And like this whole, like for a little while, like a whole side of all these foothills were dead. All these trees were dead from this fucking moth or caterpillar. They finally like sprayed and stuff. But now there's like a couple $1 million houses that were in the trees. And then they like had no trees anymore, and now they're trying to sell it because that's okay. I don't know. Forest, sorry.
So the tussock moth, you get that where you are?
Yeah, and like for some reason, this it was probably 2017. They went nuts and like in a couple areas, like killed all the trees. And I would walk by and you see like there's just millions of these fucking caterpillars everywhere.
So many. Okay, so we had a big tussock moth problem, caterpillar problem in Palo Alto, California. And I'd never seen this before. And I was at a rental. Apparently they like kill oak trees. Like they're
whatever tree they want, they'll kill it.
I think, but don't they just eat oak? Or they like tend to prefer oak for some reason?
Maybe out here they only went to the fir pine trees. They didn't kill any of the other pine trees. So
interesting.
They must have preferred.
So in Palo Alto when I lived there, they liked the oak, but they just like they were everywhere, and I had never seen them before. And I knew that caterpillars could be dangerous, but I didn't really know that. Like I'd never, as a kid, I picked up whatever caterpillar I saw, and I let my son pick up and play with these caterpillars, these tussock moth caterpillars. And he was like, he loved them because they were all furry looking, and he let them crawl all over his arm and stuff. Turns out they are toxic.
Yeah,
and he broke out in a rash. I felt so bad for telling him he could play with them. So now I'm a lot more careful about letting him touch caterpillars. I grew up like kind of all over, but my childhood was mostly in Massachusetts, and like all the caterpillars there were fine. So I was like, oh yeah, in America caterpillars are okay. Turns out no, they're not all okay.
No, those caterpillars are bad. Like we have them over in Europe too, and they usually are warning signs about it, like okay, don't have your car window open or something like that. Something I was going rambling on about earlier because of the real estate prices and everything, like, and people don't open up businesses because we have these real estate prices. So before you even can start your business, you get to have property. Obviously, you got to have a workshop if it's going to be something practical. If anything that's not an office thing, that already is a huge investment. And then you need the machines, then you need the safety things, then you need to get it checked up by the state. So let's just say maybe you get a cheap place for 500K. What you probably pay in other things would probably leave it up to like 700K, maybe even 1 million. And you're just starting your own business. Like, you will not have that kind of money, and even if it's gonna
That's
go
why
well,
only the evil capitalists can do that, you
Yeah.
know.
yeah, like the super evil duper. Yeah, I don't get. But you talk about these topics with people and go like, yeah, the super big companies that buy up all of the shit, that have the monopolies and everything. That only works because the government helps with certain laws and all of that stuff. And taxation is a huge factor.
It's so hard they don't see that, like, because I'm like, yeah, it does take a lot of money, and it does suck when someone else is rich and you're not, like, whatever. But it's like they take that, like, but it's the government that makes it hard. Like, they just,
I mean, like,
don't
everybody,
take the next step.
European leftists, especially like in Central Europe, where we are right now, in our rich countries, they go like, oh, the companies don't pay enough money for their workers and everything like that. But if you know what the companies are actually paying, because there's this part obviously that you don't see on your bill, then there's this certain amount of money that every company just pays for the state and insurances and all of that shit. And so actually the wages are very, very good. The problem is you just don't see a lot of it.
Yeah, now with inflation too, it's like, yay.
I mean, in certain fields, obviously the wages are going to go up. Like logistics, last year when I checked, most places would offer like 1,600 per month or something, and now all of the logistics jobs I've seen right now are like around 2,000 per month, which is a lot better. But it's also in high demand, and I applied for another job, and the requirements they put on the website for like what do we expect of you? One of it was, hopefully it's possible you can communicate somewhat in German.
Is there like laws out there where you can't like flat out say that when you're hiring people?
No. It's no. You can say it, and the thing is, like, a lot of people applying for these practical jobs are just non-native speakers in German, because like they don't really mind, and we have this tendency for a lot of Austrians and Germans, just they go out of school and immediately go to obviously get a degree in whatever field. But you gotta go to college, can't work in the trades.
Yeah. Man, that was fucked up that it's like the late 90s. I don't know what happened. Everyone's like, oh, computers only. Everybody's got to do computers. You know, like my dad didn't go to college and he did well on blue collar and stuff. I don't know like why I know why they pushed it, but yeah, it's going to be weird when there's like literally no one to do the electric work and the plumbing, and because they're like, I have friends where they'll hire you and teach you on the job, which that's like the best fucking way to learn something, right? And they're starting out, no experience in electricity or plumbing. It's like all 20, 25 plus, just to show up and like learn. Like,
fuck? It's the same here, because they just need people. And as I said, like a lot of people maybe start out, but they can't take the pressure, because one thing a lot of people haven't learned in their lives. Shit, yeah, I gotta go into this. Like it's a little bit connected to the dating market, but it's a good example of like how bad the parenting actually is around here. Like everybody obviously is going to be like, no, my parents are fine, but if you get into a practical job, usually you will have this part where you fuck up because you don't know shit, and you gotta learn skills, muscle memory, and all of that. Those factors, it's a thing. So you're gonna make mistakes. Yes, you're gonna cut off material, and you're gonna definitely screw up, and they're gonna tell you. And there's an objective way, or objectively right way of doing certain jobs, which at first it doesn't feel good, but then you start to figure out, oh, the way I was thinking wasn't thinking. It's not been practical. Like, I was lacking a lot of knowledge here, which later on you do, and there is this point where you obviously know if you did it right or wrong. Like, you don't need to ask someone, you just know it. But that involves that you need to be wrong about something, and that you need to accept it. And yes, being wrong feels shitty. Nobody likes it. And
learn.
in the dating markets, like, we have a ton of young white girls who are super high up their noses, and obviously from the parents, they definitely didn't. A lot of them didn't have to learn that you can be wrong about shit. And when it comes to the dating market, how a lot of men go about it, they just keep on telling him like, yes, you're totally smart and anything, and then you listen to him and you're like, oh my god, it's just pure bullshit coming out of their mouth, not considering a lot of factors. And then you say it and then you're the bad guy. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay away from you. What the hell, man? But social skills do be like that here. I think it's in a lot of places in the United States too. Like, and then you will not be willing to put in the effort to go into a trade job.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, I don't know. I guess blue collar is just normal to me, but there are people who literally like look so down on blue collar people. They just can't like figure out they fucking need them. Like, you want your toilet to work, you know?
Yeah, it's like, who do you think has to build these hospitals and law offices that people are trying to go for?
Oh yeah, oh my god, like because of the gasoline price, we have this huge discussion with the Green Party people who are like, oh yeah, but maybe it's good that the prices are up, but you're like, you know that the people who fix shit in your house actually, you know, they drive cars and they will not be switching to electric cars anytime soon because sometimes they need to go a long distance and they need to transport tools. And they don't have the fucking time to always load up the car. Like if there's an emergency thing where somebody calls, especially if you're working like with pipe work and everything, if you have a water break, you want them to show up as soon as possible.
Right.
It's like, oh no, gotta charge my electric car. Can you wait for 2 more hours? What? No, it's coming out of the wall rack now.
What's going to be funny is the people who make like rules that everybody has to have electric cars and stuff, except for they'll be like, you know, oh, except for us and the people who service us. That's what the government will do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And people keep all to forget that, I mean, if I had a business like this, of course I would put the gas prices on the fucking tab. Yeah. Fuck off, not going to pay for those gas prices out of my own pocket and suddenly make less money only because the government is a bitch.
Stop.
Yeah, it's wild. I have to do a lot of showings because the market's so crazy here, and I'm like, and I drive a truck too, but I'm getting a car soon, so that's good. But our truck gets used for actual construction shit too.
Awesome. I can't wait for that to be over in the United States. I have a lot more of a practical setup. And I mean, like, one thing I definitely will follow as an advice was what's his name again? The YouTube mechanic, Scotty. I'm pulling it up real quick. It's also like a recommendation to follow that channel. Some good advice on Scotty Kilmer. Y'all know him?
Kilmore?
No, Scotty Kilmer.
I don't know.
Follow him.
Oh no, on YouTube he does videos about just car things. He's a car mechanic. Talks a lot about it, and he also it's like, yeah, if you want to get a car, and then these days, and you want to get a good deal, you basically want to have a car where you have at least minimal plastic parts, because plastic parts will break down. You cannot repair them as good as steel parts or metal parts.
And everything's so electronic now. I sold my old Jeep Cherokee. Now I'm like kicking myself because it was before everything went so computerized, and that could have been a good apocalyptic car, but whatever.
Yeah, and if you can fix some things about your car, I mean, like we all know that we have the labor shortage. It's not going to get better in the next 20 years. It's going to be a factor that is just. I think we've just seen the start of this thing. And so you will need to be able to do a lot more things on your own.
And it feels better to do that anyways.
Yeah, totally.
It does, but it's hard, and we might not have the skills or supplies that we need to finish the job, right?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a thing. I mean, basically, we are just facing the time of big wealth and everything. It's kind of over now.
It's kind of scary. I'm actually afraid to buy things now, like big things, because so many people are struggling, and all businesses and just people in general are trying to figure out ways to save money where they can, and increase the price where they can. So worry about little things like the toys that I'm buying my kids, are they actually made without lead, right? Like the stuff, is it being imported from China, not being tested? And because right now people are struggling and they're just trying to get it done as quickly and cheaply as possible. Like I feel like there's this push to continue this illusion that everything is okay and things are still getting out there, but things are being compromised here and there.
Oh,
and I've just
absolutely.
seen it in little stuff like food and little things,
It's literally, yeah, it's everywhere, and people keep being in denial about it. I mean, the problem is, if you're in your comfort zone, you will be in denial until shit breaks down. I mean,
Yes.
if I look at the European situation, it's also going to be, especially because of like how close we live to each other and how massively populated everything is here. So that's definitely going to be an issue at one point. I mean, this is why I'm planning to move out to the countryside this year. So I just don't want to live in a city anymore. I mean, we are talking about like blackouts and everything because of green energy politics, because they just screw up. And blackout for Austria would maybe do it in 2 days, so that wouldn't be too bad. But you don't know what happens in 2 days. People can go crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is it's affecting everyone everywhere. It's just not like people aren't realizing it yet. So the fact that we know that this is a possibility and it's something to look out for, I'm just constantly worrying about what I can do to insulate myself from it as much as possible, because it's impossible to avoid it completely. So the best you can do is like just try and minimize the damage.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be damage. There's going to be compromises. We already see it. I mean, also like as an information for I mean, most people who are watching are not going to be like, I want to be like Europe and have the free healthcare and shit. Because that system is going down, obviously too. Sure, like we can go to the doctor and everything, but even there, like you go to a doctor, your healthcare pays for like once a month. You can go as often as you want, but that also means that the doctor's not going to make any money off you. And so the service is definitely not going to be as good as for some of the customers who come privately.
Yeah.
Did you all see that Bloomberg opinion piece from yesterday that reads, inflation stings most if you earn less than 300K. Here's how to deal. Take the bus. Don't buy in bulk. Try lentils, I think that says, instead
Lentils,
of meat.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, nobody said this would be fun. Let me tell you, as someone who does take the bus, I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
Go fuck these people.
Wait a minute. There was a Bloomberg article that came out and said, take public transportation, eat lentils, and stop complaining.
Yeah, we could. You want to share it? We could share it on here.
What?
What heck?
And
It was like the dude. It was like, just drive electric. Why are you guys complaining about?
Exactly.
Yes. Like,
1 second,
fuck
I
these
just
people.
lost it
So
again.
mad.
Oh God! Like, another like to Russell, Jimmy's. Right now, because of the gasoline prices, a lot of the self-employed truckers cannot afford the gasoline anymore. People are literally selling trucks right now, and in Europe, like you got it in the United States too. We got it in Europe too. We have trucker shortage, and it's literally like you look at these politicians, you're like, do you want a fucking civil war? Because everything you do right now, like we have problems with the supply chain already, and you're making it worse. Like, what the fuck? But I have a very bad feeling that people would, even if things crash here, I have a very bad feeling that people will definitely go at each other's throats, because a lot of politicians don't seem to be the targets right now.
You guys see
Yeah,
that?
which is unfortunate because they are the reason that we're in this mess.
Yeah.
Like, we need a Liberty song. Hex, you need to work on a Liberty song that's like catchy.
And not cringe as fuck like
And
some
not
others.
yes. That like clearly defines what the problem is that people can relate to and who the enemy is, because that doesn't exist right now. And it was a Liberty song that helped Cuba, like with their they had all those riots, like a few months back. It was a Liberty song that did it. And I think like it's just music has a way of moving people, like masses of people.
Right.
Yeah,
Give me
definitely
someone who
does.
can sing, and I got you.
I can train a bit. I'm not too bad at singing.
I know some people. So yeah, write it. I know some people who can sing and who can help collaborate with lyrics.
All right,
I'm
cool.
trying to get
Yeah.
my brother-in-law to do it, but he was like, he does tattooing. He's afraid of losing clients in Santa Cruz because that's where like most of his clientele is.
There are a bunch of libtards there.
Yeah.
No, Santa Cruz is totally libertarian.
Libertarian or like liberal
Libtard.
cringe.
Yeah, it is.
Liberal
kidding.
cringe.
Just kidding. That's a lovely article.
What does it say? It's so tiny. I can't read anything.
It literally says, take the bus, don't buy in bulk. The lentils, it's lentils instead of meat. Nobody said this would be fun.
Don't buy in bulk is like the worst. That's the what?
The worst piece of advice you can give.
Right? Like buy in bulk now. Save money because it's going to be even more expensive tomorrow, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, these are people who are so insulated from reality. So,
And then the wannabe people who are like, we're the people who like want to be these ivory tower people. It's like, no, you're not. Like,
and then I seen
Sorry.
another article from, I think it was The Independent, that said apparently they cited some probably bullshit study about meat and how it could lead to infertility, and it's like, yeah, that's complete bullshit. Fuck off.
Yeah, they're just priming us, right? So when the vaccines end up making people infertile, they'll be like, no, it's the meat. Look, we have the source.
I did, and like,
And then-
don't you feel like half the shit is like them putting spells out there? Like just that Bloomberg article. It's like they're saying what's going to happen. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it's the same with the entire communication the European politicians did towards the entire Russian thing now. It was this passive-aggressive thing like, we are the peaceful ones, but don't be a bad guy. Don't do these things because we have to be do consequences then and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Austria has this thing where we are officially neutral, but at many train stations at points you can see military transports on the highway. Yesterday we saw military transport too, and we were like, oh, they're going east. Wonder where they're going.
They're going to Ukraine.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it started in like around December or November already, and back then it was like if you were kind of informed, it was pretty much sure clear that something's going to happen in Ukraine. I mean, it was provoked so many times, and now we're there, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of big peace treaty. There was this thing where they had the meeting up in Turkey, where there was actually talk about giving the Crimea to Russia officially. Like the things that came out of the discussion weren't too bad actually, and I can bet my ass that the NATO and the European countries were like, no, we're not going to accept this deal. Like there has to be something under the table because the journalists and the politicians are the rhetorical methods they use. It's just war propaganda through and through. I mean, we right now
Yeah,
have
man, I
open
don't know. That whole situation is so crazy. Like, do you believe everything? Because you're closer over there.
I stopped reading about any of it, like because it's so many freaking sites, and you cannot just tell anything. So I worry about the prices. I have my personal goals, but otherwise, I'm not gonna get involved with the topic because it's so hard to get good information, actually. And I do agree that the European politicians have pushed for this to escalate as bad. Only the only thing is like Putin was the one to attack, because they are cowards. They are not the people who will strike first, but they are definitely willing to strike and do all of that shit. And everybody who's suffering right now, obviously, like the citizens are suffering. We as citizens are suffering because of the gasoline prices, which makes everything more expensive. Like food prices have definitely gone up already. And then we have a bunch of Russian truckers, like when this thing started, and they did like the what's the word again? The sanctions. Now the bank accounts and credit cards of these truckers are basically dead. They cannot use it. So at some points they know that they don't have enough gas to make it to Russia. So they're kind of stranded at some places, and they can't get cash, they can't get food, they can't get a fill up. And then we have these articles where we've seen it, where what was like Facebook and Instagram were like, okay, yeah, you can post hate against Russians online. Like, what does the average Russian citizen or even people who have Russian heritage, like what do they have to do with this fucking Putin? And if we apply the same logic, we need to do the same thing with definitely Chinese people and a lot of other countries too, which do horrible things because, you know, they do
Americans.
things too. Yep.
Yeah.
I just don't get how people don't see that. It's the fucking, all the governments fucking everything up.
Yeah, but they're just playing the people against each other. I mean, so far, the outfit I usually wear is like this Gopnik outfit, like tracksuit pants and everything. And I did notice that some of the super liberal people walking around, like, they give me looks now. And not the kind of looks like, I hate that. It's more like, you wish bad things had to happen to me, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Then you just squat down with your AK and scare them off.
I mean, if they literally start saying stupid shit, I'm gonna just go like this at them and go like, "What do you want, suka bliat?" Just to fuck with them. Hope you have your Adidas tracksuit.
I don't know what we're gonna do, because it's the whole fucking world. It's us against the whole fucking world, basically.
I mean, at first I would say, like, we need to unite. The one thing, definitely the one thing here in more Central Europe, which is a problem, is that we don't have a sense of community anymore. Like, if I've had a colleague from Gambia and he asked me, like, dude, in your company we have the other German dude, you're a German, but you are not, like, you don't have any sense of, like, community or pride in being German. I'm like, no, firstly, I hate this country, secondly, I hate this dude, and he was like, as a Gambian, he couldn't understand that. He was like, dude, even if we totally do not agree with somebody, like, they're fellow countrymen, and there's something that binds us together, and so they would help each other out. Like, and he did the cool thing where we threw away a lot of this IKEA-ish furniture because it was just kind of damaged, and you can't resell it because of the financial office and everything. Like, that's just too hard, so you just throw it away. And then we just got it, and he organized a container to be shipped to Gambia right away. Because obviously the wood in African countries is getting bought up right now by a lot of richer countries, so they have a wood shortage actually, and so these things ship actually back there, so people could build something with it, whatever. Just use it for a practical sense, and that is a sense of community that binds people together, that makes connections where you wouldn't be always alone. But right now in the West, we have a lot of loners. We don't have, and then, as I said, like the sense of helping each other out. Usually, an answer you will get for a lot of things in Austria or Germany it's going to be like, go to the social offices or do that and that. So there's a lot of confusion. There is not a lot of mentors you have, or mentor figures you actually have, or people willing to do it. Like, yeah, sure, everybody has insecurities and nobody feels. We probably will be never ready as humans in general or as grown-ups to fully mentor or feel too competent, but there's things we know and there are things we don't know. We can admit that and can use that to help. But that has to happen, and it's not happening here right now, so there's a lot of isolation. And the only way people connect, maybe not even then, is through romantic relationships. And it's like, yeah, but that's just a small, very, 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 very small connection. And everything else is kind of staying superficial. And it's not good.
I think the nuclear family has been like a horrible idea for humans. We should have never encouraged that at all. Like, we're social beings, and we need connections to other people, either extended family or friends. And I don't think it's healthy for children to raise them in these like 2-parent households where you have 2 kids and they're so contained. I think kids do better when they have more people they can rely on, more kids to play with, and more adults who are loving and safe that can help them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big factor, but there we go to this entire other bushel of problems. We all know that there are many predators out these days. The number of pedophiles has been going up, actually.
That's scary, and you have to know, like, you have to be able to trust the people that you're around. So yeah, that's super fucking scary. That was my biggest fear as when I became a new mom, because I knew that like child abductions were not really a thing, especially from strangers. Like, they were mostly done by someone who the family trusted and knew. Same with pedophilia, which is horrible and disgusting. So yeah, that is a problem. My biggest thing there is I practice respectful parenting and peaceful parenting. And if you don't respect a child's autonomy, then that immediately like sets my radar off. And I'm like, oh, and if you believe in punishing or even rewarding children for behavior, that's manipulative behavior. That again, my hackles go up. Like, you shouldn't do that at all. And if you reject all of that manipulation to control children, then I feel like you're a pretty safe person.
I mean, like we something we also need to remind ourselves of is that yes, as humans, we are still animals to a certain degree. So although we have some higher senses of intelligence than most animals do, especially in social behaviors like empathy and everything, it's good to understand some of these processes and how other animals socialize too. Like right now, I'm still around listening to this long ass series of lectures about behavioral biology from Robert Sapolsky, which is like on the Stanford channel on YouTube. Super interesting stuff, because you've seen a lot of animal behaviors that you can see how they socialize and how possible socialization can actually work. But what we do right now with this entire transhumanist mindset and everything is we ignore all of that. And I'm even reading have a book about all the old myths from the Bushman people. It's like this from the first humans, basically, who then migrated to Asia, and you still have some tribes in Nigeria who stick around, of the oldest genetic code, and it's some of their myths and tales, and it's super interesting to read it because it's at one point also different, but it's like 60 to 80,000 years ago. And the philosophy and the way how you can look at it around, like how to teach people, how to teach others about awareness of your body, consequences and everything. Like a lot of that is already in there, which is super interesting because it's definitely not a primitive thing. And I think some parts of it definitely hold elements that we as a society or society awareness thing definitely have lost in that, not in total. And I think we got some of it back like in the mid 2000s, but in the past 20 years, like after the mid 2000s, it like escalated to bad.
So when you say that we are animals, are you saying that to justify like some sort of like there's a behavior and a response that's given to help people learn? Is that what you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that we shouldn't forget that we have like some base functions like the biochemistry that works, that can be influenced different ways by
Sure.
researching, I think it was baboons or chimps. Sapolsky talked about anyways. I think it was chimps. And like you have this thing of like procreation, like you obviously have like natural selection, but you also sexual selection. This is something other mammals do, and they fall into different categories of this. Just to go into this is an entire big topic, but it's very interesting and good to know, to understand why some people do what they do. And we do have a society that is leaning more towards like sexual selection. This is what we get from Hollywood and from this, and you need this dude, and this is the perfect. It's more like sexual things, but we don't have this other natural thing, like
Okay.
the evolutionary one.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a lot there, a lot of information. I think the thing is,
we go deep.
I think the thing that I would just like to drive home is that we have the ability to think, right, in a way that other animals cannot, and people do not respond well to manipulation. And that's what you're seeing like right now with all of us here, and seeing the government doing its thing and having that knee-jerk reaction. Now, some people will respond to that. Some people will be like, oh yeah, I'll just go with the flow. I don't want to stir the pot. I'm going to do what you say. I think that is unhealthy and toxic. And I think most humans would flourish if we gave them freedom and responsibility. So the type of learning that is best is not one that is a constructed, like, you do this, so I'm going to implement this this consequence, right? But a natural one. Like, I did this, I touched the hot pan and I burnt myself, right? It's not something that I imposed as the parent, because when you impose something that's unnatural, the child doesn't learn, and adults too. It's the same thing for adults. You're not learning, oh, I shouldn't do that. You're learning, oh, this person did that to me, and they don't want me to do this for this reason.
Yeah, that's definitely a manipulative thing. And one thing that is a lot of, I once, a couple of years ago, I did, because of depression or anything, I did a therapy group, and we were talking about emotions, and the therapist asked us in the group, like, okay, what do you think emotions are? Or like, name some of the emotions. And one emotion was there that everybody forgot about, or some people didn't even know it was an emotion, and the emotion is curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we need to learn to deal with that. Like, I was pretty lucky to, although like blah blah blah, I can't do anything, but I had the great luck that I was able to ask all these questions like when I was young, and if I would be able to understand some of the answers about it, my mother and godmother would go into detail. Like, they would go down and sit in the read the books and everything, and then maybe call like a professor they knew from university, like, oh, dude, what's about this? And so I got the answers. Like, they were, of course, you got to put effort into it. But why punish curiosity? Curiosity is a good thing.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's not a good thing, but it's definitely a base human emotion. Like everything
it
else.
Is a good thing.
It
can get you into trouble. It can get you into trouble, but like I think it should definitely be seen as a good thing.
I would say like it's a tool, because if you go into the extreme, you can be extremely curious about things. You could maybe go like, how does it feel to kill a person? Like, obviously that's not a good thing.
Wait, how does what?
Like, if your curiosity goes like, how does it feel to murder? It's not a good thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So like curiosity is good, but like we need to keep like morality and ethics in mind too. Right.
Yeah, or basically, like, I think the best morality to not go, it's funny. Like, I don't think you definitely need like this big morality thing. Like, you go like, okay, you are a neighborhood, you have a society around you, you kill someone because you don't like him, you go like, I removed something I don't like. This will put other people into the position. They look at you and be like, this person could think the same thing about me and repeat it. So basically what you're going to do is to screw up a lot of things for you by
right. So that's like empathy. Empathy is like a good thing too.
Yeah. There are levels of empathy too, like complex empathy, which is obviously connected to intelligence. And humans are capable of a lot of empathy. Like there were tests with chimps where they were showing them, video of a dog or something, and they wouldn't necessarily relate to that too much. But we can have empathy to a fictional character in a book, to a dog or somebody who already passed away. We read the biography, we're like, oh my god, that's a lot of people. A lot of other animals cannot do this.
A lot of animals do, actually. Like, you'll see examples of, like a bird taking care of a kitten and protecting it. That kind of thing.
Like to a degree that can happen. But what I mean is, like, they did experiments with animals where they tried to show them fictional characters to feel empathy for, and they couldn't do that.
Oh, fictional, yes, but real, that's like high level stuff. Babies actually feel empathy. They've done studies with puppets where they'll do a puppet show in front of infants below 1 that can't even talk yet, and they'll have one puppet doing something that's quote unquote mean to another puppet, and then at the end of the show they'll show the infant both puppets, and the infant will show statistically it will want the puppet that was hurt in the puppet show than the one that was doing the hurting.
Babies have to be able to do that to survive, like, because as a baby, obviously they're going to look at themselves like, oh, this was some very small arms, these are big arms, like these people, the parent thing is whatever. And then, like, even through the physical contact, way before babies can actually understand language or speech, can understand language or use at least some more communication to communicate some things they need, like, pointing at something, being like, oh, I want this. This isn't I want this. So this is where that starts. But they have to pick up from zero. There's some genetic things that may be happening, but a lot of it is obviously right away learning from the parents.
So I think that actually, I would say that they're born with it. I think as humans and social animals, and most social animals are born with this empathy. And I think a lot of people assume children and babies are not born with it and they need to be taught it. And I say when they are the behaviors that we see and we say, oh, that's like selfish and the kid is not seeing empathy, or actually us not empathizing with the child and not understanding their limitations, because they don't have the impulse control and emotional regulation and past experiences and knowledge that we do. So when we see these behaviors, we're like, unfortunately, we same with our adult filter, and many times adults are quick to say, see, that was the kid being like a bully or this or that, and they put a negative association to it. And so I actually reject that. I say we should give children the benefit of the doubt, recognize their limitations, empathize with them, and they're born with empathy. And when we empathize with them, they're born with empathy. We'll foster that more, and we'll have more empathetic adults.
Yeah, this is why I say, like, I think we should connect with the knowledge that we are also kind of animals, because all of our emotional things that drive us and that influence us, I would see them as tools, basically. And as a good tradesman, you will always check your workshop, like, what tools do I have? What do I need? What's here? So you actually learn to really make good use out of those things. And I worked in a kindergarten. I started to work in a kindergarten. Like, the one thing I couldn't handle, though, is like sometimes you have some parents where they are not totally bad, so you cannot do a lot of things, but you already know that there's going to be emotional damage for the child. And this is why I quit. But the lady who led the kindergarten, she was a freaking genius with children, and that was a wonderful person. I was actually the same kindergarten, and this lady was my kindergartner too. And so there was this one day, two children were playing outside, and one of the girls was trying to play with a boy, and somehow they had something where they didn't like each other, and she was always like getting her way at home, obviously, because she was like the really cute face, big blue eyes, and so she would just look at you like, oh, something bad, and most people would go like, oh, because it's hard to resist it. But this lady, she knew what was going on, and this girl came like, this boy hit me with a shovel. And she looked at her and was like, and what did you do? She was like, what did you do? Called him an asshole.
Yeah.
And then she got both of them together and told him, like, dude, I understand you don't want to get called names and everything. That's not a nice thing, but you can maybe talk it out and not hit her with a shovel, because that hurts too. You don't want that to happen to you too. And to her, she was like, and you don't try to force your way or anything. Like, you got to be a little bit more, like, other kids have needs too and have their own view. Like, you got to combine that.
Yes. Yeah. So as a parent, and I also volunteered at my youngest son's preschool a lot, and also my oldest son's school when he was in kindergarten and first grade. I see my job not to take sides, especially with young kids. It's to be like a neutral arbiter. So it's like a counselor in a way.
I think another good example from the therapy thing I did, also a recommendation for that, passive void therapy. If you're dealing with depression or anything, this is actually very good help. It definitely helped me to work through a lot of shit. And one part of the method is that the therapist, he will not be there as he or she, or like, they will not be there as a therapist. But there will be this hand up, and it's like, I'm the gotta Google the words. Oh no, I'm the witness, and you seem upset, and it goes like this, but it's not going to be this judgmental person. And a big part of the process, even in the group, is you do some structures which you build up to face through some trauma and everything, and work through it and understand a lot of things, understand yourself better. And in the end, everybody shares, but you're not supposed to share. Like, I thought this person did this so great. Like, that's a freaking no-go. You only talk about what you took out of it, what touched you, which already helps, like, to reconnect people and for people in the group to actually understand a lot of the functions we have. As individual as we are, but in our base functions, we are very much alike, which is a very good thing to understand, because it makes this kind of feeling of loneliness definitely better, and it definitely helps figuring out social skills too.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I think I agreed with all that.
What can I say? Like, it worked on me. 20-year depression gone.
That's pretty awesome. I need to work on it. So,
I mean, it's not like all of the problems go away immediately.
Oh,
Never. Life is traumatic, no matter what.
Oh yeah. but definitely makes it a difference when, like, there's this day where you notice the heavy fog and the head is just gone.
Okay, do you guys get this thing? Like, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. I feel like I feel the weight of the world on me. So when I go to the grocery store and I see empty shelves, when I see the thing that I bought like last year and now, or 2 years, 3 years ago, and now I'm buying it again and it's like made worse and costs more or whatever. I don't know. There's these things that happen. I just feel like so sad. I feel so sad for what the world could be and just can't be because of fucking the government. And then also I feel sad for my kids. And then I just like start thinking like, okay, what is their life going to look like? What is this going to be in 50 years? You know? I don't know. And then I just get depressed. I get so depressed.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that with your kids, Alice, at all? Like they're about their futures?
Yes and no. So like I think no matter when you're raising kids, like you're always going to have that concern. What is life going to be like for them? And so I have my moments where I get really upset and I get depressed and same thing. But I always have hope, as silly as that sounds. Like I try to keep hope because of my kids, because if I lose my hope and I don't believe that our world, our country can be better, people can be better, then what am I going to teach them? You know, so it's like I get really depressed, but at the same time, like the way I grew up was very different than most people. My dad was very, very sick. So I saw my mom battle a lot and I saw him battle a lot. So I look at myself and I just kind of think that I kind of have it easier than they do. So maybe it doesn't cause me that kind of scare that it does other people. But I think that's normal as a parent. Like, I think it's totally normal. Yeah, when you go to a grocery store and they're out of the dog food that's always there. Like, just these basic things that were always there. You can't help but worry. But I just try to encourage people to, like, have hope and have hope that you're raising smart, intelligent kids that are going to make our
The
world
next
better.
strong men that are going to make good times.
I hope so, but the thing is that like child abuse has gone up so much. So
Yeah.
so like in
Yeah.
circles like this, like great, I'm definitely inspired. But when you look at the bigger picture, like I think the whole reason we have wars today and everything is because of parenting. I think people who are hurt emotionally end up hurting other people emotionally. Many of them do. Some of them break out of the cycle, but most do not. So it's like it's hard for me to lose that big perspective shit, you know?
Yeah. See, my husband broke a cycle. My husband is the first one to get married and then have kids in his family for quite a few generations. And he's the first one to like, be there for his kids and not to have kind of a cycle of abuse with his children. So I hope that makes my kids stronger to, you know, because he can instill that in them, that strength that he had. So that gives me hope that there are more and more kids that want to break the cycle. Like we have a young woman in our life who, you know, she didn't grow up with the best and she just had a baby. And I know she's not going to stay with the father, but I think she's going to be a much better mom than her mom was. Like, I think she realizes, like, I need to do better for my child. And I see more and more of that in younger people, so that gives me hope. But yeah, it gets rough sometimes because you not even just when it comes to politics. Like, I don't know how many people you guys know, but I've had a lot of friends from my neighborhood die of heroin. Like, I have friends that are dead that have left their children behind, and that's scary. You know, that traumatizes kids. What does that do to a kid? Because I think when it's your parents that turn on you, I think that's the hardest thing for a child to deal with.
That's the like one person who's never supposed to turn on you. So when your parents turn on you,
Yeah.
it's just like
Right. Abuse never came from my parents. My parents were always there for me. They made their mistakes like any parent does, but my parents were always there for me. So it wasn't the two people that were supposed to be there that weren't there for me. The people that weren't there for me, I mean, it sucks. They should have been, but my parents were there for me. But I see a lot of kids whose parents aren't there for them.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I hate public school is when I was going to school, I was skipping school with one of my best friends all the time. And
Still can't
her,
see you, Hex, by the way.
her mom was like a big drug addict and stuff. My dad was in the hospital with a broken hip. He was never going to walk again. He had MS. My mom was at the hospital all the time. So I stopped going to school. And the principal said to me, at least your friend's mom cares about her because your mom obviously doesn't care about you. That girl is dead from a heroin overdose. I'm a stay-at-home mom, happily married, and a principal said that.
Why would he say that to you? That's so stupid. And humans are so abusive.
Education are so dumb. I'm sorry.
It's true though. It's true though.
And I hate myself sometimes because I'm like, oh my God, I sent my daughter to the same school district. But I'm thinking, but I think part of me just wanted to remember some of the good that was there instead of the bad. But then, yeah, I mean, going to my friend's funeral, who had a heroin overdose, and seeing her mom and knowing how her mom treated her and knowing that her mom had men coming in and out of that home that were doing things to her daughter that drove her to her drug use. I couldn't even go up to her mom at the funeral. I couldn't because the girl had a choice at the end of the day, but I mean, the way she treated her daughter was terrible. My mom wasn't around because she was trying to deal with her husband in the hospital. My dad was in the hospital for like 3 months. My mom had to do everything on her own plus be a caretaker. And this guy's like, well, at least her mom cares.
Yeah.
He was probably fucking her mom.
Ooh, dark but good.
Was sleeping with like so many of the police in our town too.
Us humans are such beautiful things.
Totally.
The shit we do. I love it.
I mean, but with dark shit and everything, I mean, things don't look good. But one thing I remember, like from troubled background, used to be homeless, shit like this, and in bad situations, you are in a situation you don't want to be in. It doesn't feel good, but once you're there, you have to start looking at it and be like, but it happened now. Now it is here. So what are we gonna do? And sometimes it's just like that. And I mean, really, a lot of things are going bad. There's some good, and hopefully we will help to build that good back. And I think to a certain degree we can. Like one thing I'm definitely trying in my communication, I'll have to figure it out how it's going to work in the next job, is I'm trying to have an as honest communication as I can, but not honest in like, I want to be the good guy. I want to have a collective world together where I see my own needs and things I want to get communicated and talk about that, not taking myself too seriously all the time, and also having keeping in mind that I could be wrong about things too. And most people right now we have been conditioned to play status games, and these status games work in a way where communication is just like somebody says something, somebody has an opinion on it, and there's always something where somebody tries to present themselves as the best product ever. And it's interesting to have started to break out of that, because once you do, you got to repeat yourself a couple of times talking to other people, like, dude, no, I actually meant this question like this and this. So you got to repeat it. And once people understand, there's this very short moment where they look at you and you just see a little bit of difference. It's like, oh, he doesn't care about his status. And I think that definitely helps, because in the end, what we all want to do is have a communication where we see our needs met, which also means we need to collaborate with a lot of the other people around there, which are going to be there and are going to be good or bad. But in the end, as a society, like we have people who provide electricity and all of that. Like, keep your mind around that, respect that stuff, and understand the individuality of things. And with the status games, it just come to this thing which we all know with the plastic life, keeping up with the Jacksons, and like having the
I still want people to
McMansion.
think I'm hot, though. I like that. I'm just kidding. I work hard to be a strong, dependent woman, like, or a strong, dependent Black man. That's what I am, Hex. Who said that? Who was that? Oh, Daniel said that. Sorry that I ruined that seriousness.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, this is what I think what we can do, and I'm obviously still figuring it out too. But I think this is something good to start off, and just go with it, and hopefully lead somewhere. I mean, on the other hand, like it's good to build communities and have people around you. Sometimes maybe it's possible to inspire people and get them to the point where they ask the question like, "Why is that working out for you?" I hope to get there, though. Right now, I'm not at things working out really well.
At least it's the goal. I mean, I feel that's a worthy goal.
It is.
It's hard. It is hard. It's like so many people just never dive below the surface at all. Like, at all. So even when, like, we have these little conversations, they're just like, what are you fucking talking about? But like you said, sometimes they leave it where you see in their eyes, they did kind of learn to think a different way a little bit, or like think about something in a different way. It's really the ego. It's the ego death thing, isn't it? Like, you have to fucking kill your ego a couple times.
Yeah.
I feel. Or be like embarrassed. Like, people are so afraid to be embarrassed,
Yeah. It's literally like for a child when they fall for the first time, maybe get a bruise that's a bit bloody, child's gonna get scared or anything, and then you just teach them like, yeah, it's the first time. This time it's very scary. It's gonna happen again, though. It's gonna be less scary, and it's all right to fall. It's all right to be bruised.
And you'll heal. You'll heal.
Yep.
Fuck. Wow, we got deep there for a minute.
Yeah.
I like it though. And I'm like, Alice is drinking. Alice, are you still having a beer? It kind of made me want to go get a beer, but
I probably shouldn't. I'm surprised I can, because Friday night, so we're remodeling our house right now, and we're doing my daughter's room, which is the biggest project we're doing so far. Like, everything's getting redone. It's all getting painted, stuff's getting sanded, drywall, new flooring. So we were drinking Friday, and I just got carried away. And the next
as it happens sometimes.
So when you're moving like that, you don't really think about how much you're drinking. But we were moving so much and doing so much stuff around the house, and then the next day I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel awful. Apparently I called my husband. He was like, should I go get some more beer? And I'm like, yeah, go get more beer, you pussy.
I love it.
But we probably shouldn't have, because we both felt like crap, and now we're having to do. Well, I'm not doing any work today, but he is. He's upstairs.
Yes, you earned another beer or two on a Sunday. It's fine.
Well, you know what? Like, I see it. Like, when I first became a stay-at-home mom, I would get like on the stay-at-home moms, to try and like have people to connect with. But like, so many women complain about their husbands, but I don't really have complaints. He goes and plays darts on Tuesday night, and he goes and does his thing. So I don't really like to go out a lot. I'm more of a homebody. So if I want to have a few drinks and listen to my music, he watches the kids and makes sure they do everything they need to do. Like, but like, yeah, like so many women complain, and I'm just like, I mean, you need to respect each other. Like, he needs his space. I need my space. I'm home with the kids all day, every day. I mean, I homeschool, so it's not like they even go off to school. and I'm with them every day, all day. He works the construction, so he works. So it's like we both deserve breaks, and we both make sure that each other get those breaks without. Like, I think there's a lot of people that will be like, yeah, you can play darts on Tuesday night, but then every Tuesday they're mad that they're going to play darts on Tuesday night. But I don't
That's
care.
weird. Yeah, I don't get that
That's
either.
fucking goofy.
Yeah, I mean, just go out with your friends and have a good time, you know? And I mean, my husband has told me, because I really like to bowl, and he's like, we should join a bowling league. And I'm like, I don't want to join a bowling league. Like, I like to go bowling sometimes, but you know, when it comes to my breaks, like, I'd rather just turn on my music and have a few beers and just be left alone. Like, just
That's how you make it work in a relationship. You both have to like be able to do your thing so you can be at your best vibes to make it work.
yeah.
No, you got that wrong. Like the most important thing is that you just sit on each other and have literally no space. Like you two just should be the only thing in your lives.
Yeah. No other friends.
Oh,
no
God.
other-
Excuse me, I have to go vomit.
No.
Some people, my husband and I are like, it's Roblox. Like, some people think like my husband and I are like too attached, but you don't do like all these basic things with your spouse, like go to kids' birthday parties together, go shopping together, go like my husband and I go Christmas shopping for our kids together. We go shopping for their birthday together. So you guys don't do all this basic stuff together, and you look at me and my husband like we're weird, but you flip out if they try and go do something without you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so weird. Like, we like out together, but yeah, we also give each other our space. Right?
I think if I was in a relationship and she would be like, "Oh my god, grocery shopping, let's go forever." Like it turns out, I'm a very efficient grocery shopper. So, like I go in there, I know what I want, and like, oh, this, I need this, and boop, I'm at the counter, out, done. Great, love it. But if I had imagined, like, maybe she's like, the potential girlfriend would be like, "Oh, and maybe we could do this and this," like it would drive me nuts. And if that happened every time, I would be like, no.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like, and sometimes it just depends on how much money I have. Like, sometimes we go in there and I'm like, okay, we need this, 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 and this. And we go in and we get out. But then other times, yeah, I mean, like I'll be in the Aldi's aisle where they have all the fun stuff, and I'm like, oh, we can get this for the kids, or we can get this for the dog. But he's good about that kind of stuff. He doesn't care.
I mean, everybody has their own things, and one has to work out. Like it has to be worked out how it combines well with the least amount of damage.
I'm the more in and out one, but he likes to get all the snacks. So that's good.
Yeah, I like to go down the baking aisle. That's my weakness.
I spend a lot of time looking at the produce and the meat. And like, I don't like to make choices on what to make for dinner. If I'm going to the grocery store for a particular dinner in mind, I don't like to say what I'm going to make. I like to go in and see what looks the most fresh.
Yeah.
Best.
Well, our meat section has been empty at our one grocery store.
Wow. That's bad.
Really?
That's scary.
Yeah, we were able to get some, so we stocked up on what we could, and then say, hey, stop hitting the dog. And then our produce, I would get like a pack of like multi peppers and then a pack of green peppers and stuff. And I noticed like the middle one would be rotted where you couldn't see it. And I was like, yeah. So I got what I could, and I froze a bunch of vegetables and stuff. And then we got a bunch of canned vegetables because the quality was bad. Same with, we would get bag salad sometimes. And after a day, our bag salad would be bad. And that's not really normal usually.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Kenny, hey Kenny, shout out to you. He's saying he's down in Miami, I believe. We haven't had any problems here, really. Like random little things have been empty, but
Stop. Go sit down.
In Austria, we're still doing kind of fine, but we have a very good transport system over tracks, so that kind of covers some good ground still.
Yeah, it's horrible here, but there's really bad. Like we couldn't find instant mashed potatoes, and I know people were like, "Why don't you just make regular mashed potatoes?" And it's like, I mean, it's a good thing to have stocked up because they last for like ever. And I won't lie, I do make instant mashed potatoes at night with some cheese and onion and sour cream.
I'm living on the I have to be gluten-free, but other than that, I eat whatever the shit I want diet.
Yeah, we couldn't find that. And then we went to get dog food this week, and they were sold out of the dog food that and normally they would have it. So I'm kind of starting to panic because I have one cat that only eats specific food, and I'm so scared that they're gonna run out of that because she'll probably starve herself before she eats something else.
Wow.
So like,
Meat
so like
shelf now empty.
actually talking about dog food, I had something in mind like they're like if the dry dog food is also like actually good for emergency rations.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Because you
I
can
love
get like,
the. Mhm.
you can get like a giant bag, which is definitely, and you add some water and rice and stuff to that. Like if there's a food shortage, you've got nutrients in that shit. Buy a couple of bags. Like they don't take up a lot of space, but they last very long, which is practical.
I love corned beef hash, like the canned stuff, and it kind of looks and smells like dog food, but I don't care. I freaking love that stuff. It's so good.
I'm into that stuff too. Like my flatmates, all grew up probably not having this kind of thing where you sometimes have been poor and you go like canned meat.
Oh.
Gonna get me some spam. They were like, I opened it up. They were like, ew. It smells like everyone like, but it tastes great.
Tastes so good.
Yeah, oh my god! Like I have to cite Dave Chappelle like on that from a skit where he plays this crack addict like, and you know what dog food tastes like? Just like it smells, delicious.
It needs a little salt. Honestly, all the dog food I've tried.
I've mostly had cat food, though. Like the briglets, the dry stuff like that. That ain't too bad. I gotta admit it.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I haven't really tried dog food. I have tried dog biscuits, and I've smelled dog food and dog and cat food, and it smells awesome. It really does. I imagine it probably just needs salt.
Some like of the dry dog food pellets, like if you get some good stuff, some of it tastes so freaking good, man.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Loving it.
I mean, I love cooking. It's a big passion of mine. I work in the kitchen, so I'm always trying to figure out how you could combine tastes and do that. And this
With
is
dog
how
food and cat food.
maybe that too. You can actually do some things with it. But like this is how I go to the grocery store. I think like bring out like I know what I want. I know how I get there. I know how to get to the certain taste and everything. So that's pretty neat and fun. But that also makes me like a very efficiency based shopper.
I like efficiency. Because you can. You people dilly-dally around the grocery store and they get in your way sometimes too. And they're like, look, buddy, I need to like do this.
That's why the carts that have the wonky wheel are actually better. They seem annoying at first because sometimes they're a little harder to control and they're loud, but people get out of your way. When you walk fast, like, they're like, what the hell? You're like, just
Coming
go
through.
by them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although like I prefer the Gopnik method where you just have like a music setup around you and you just play hard bass very loud.
That works too. Or just going without a mask and start coughing everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll work here.
scary. So people tend to disperse him.
Although, like, oh my god, like we in Hungary yesterday, we went to Tesco because we don't have Tesco in Austria, but they had a Tesco there, and Have you ever been to Tesco? Is it a thing in America?
Mm-mm. I've been to them in England.
And
Right.
like since for a while now, they have these super awesome self-checkouts. I love them to death. It's the best thing ever. You get there, beep, 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 beep.
I
Pay
like
with
my
card.
self-checkout. We have that. I remember as a kid when I'd go grocery shop with my mom, I was like, I think it'd be fun to be a checker because it's all like I love the light and the whole like system. I was like, that's so cool. Like even now I like bagging my own groceries. I prefer to bag my own groceries there too.
I mean, we don't have the bagging service here, so like the first time I heard about it in America, I was like, what? That's a job.
I always feel awkward when people are like, I'm just standing there anyways. Like, why couldn't I just bag my own groceries if I'm doing like the regular line?
But like one thing we don't have in Europe either is shoe shiners. Like I think you have it at some touristy places, but actually as a thing, no.
The airport. I feel like they have them at the airport and downtown. Yeah, in downtown areas maybe.
Although I've seen a lot of empty shoe shine places lately. Like I don't think I've seen a manned one in a couple years now. Have you?
There's a very famous one on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just like shoe shining ASMR, but he actually literally just the shoe shining and has good microphones recording it.
I mean, I don't care that much about my shoes, so I don't.
Me neither. Like I wear them until they are done.
Although we can't do that anymore. Now we need to start taking care of them. Like shoe cobblers are going to start coming back, right? Like things are getting weird.
Yeah.
I bet.
I have a good cobbler out here. Yeah,
Nice.
you gotta get a good cobbler.
I really want to get a pair of custom-made shoes, like boots, like cowboy boots.
Like, yeah, cowboy boots are great because they eventually like mold to your feet anyways too, and they get so comfortable and like they feel like just slippers basically.
Yeah,
Sounds so damn good. I want them. That's okay. That's on the list. Like,
And they
things
look
I gotta
cool.
do in
You look
America.
really cool.
Yeah, like I have to. When I'm in America, I have to get out of the Gopnik outfit and get a cowboy outfit too.
A gothic outfit.
Not the Gopnik outfit, like the Russian thing. I'm kind of It's this subculture. I mean, since I got the tracksuit, I'm not wearing anything else anymore. Tracksuits are awesome.
Okay, so what is this tracksuit?
Well,
It's an Adidas tracksuit.
oops. Yeah,
his
like
is-
these. Oops. This.
Oh,
is,
nice. Okay. Okay. All right.
And there, let me show off the symbol. This is the Gopnik symbol. He's holding a beer, doing the Slav squat. And actually, that became a meme, but it's actually like you have these. Where I grew up, we had a lot of Russian migrants who came in the 90s because they had like German heritage or anything, so they could come over and get a passport. And some of the lower class, lower educated people would have these tracksuits, cheap ripples or anything, would just squat around somewhere, have some vodka, usually start trouble or pickpocketing.
So it's like a known off-brand.
No, this one is like this is from the memes, because now it's not only Gopniks, now it's actually people wearing that shit and celebrating the hard best, which is totally funny because it
That's
used to be
awesome.
only these people. I'm still like, we have a counterculture. Like we should definitely do Gopnik as to be as disrespectful and get away from this attitude, the freaking royal bloodlines and everything. With we gotta be fancy to each other. Like fuck that shit.
I'm looking for more pins. I got this jean jacket right before the Libertarian Convention in California, and so now I have my Mises pin and like my Libertarian pin. So now I'm like, you got it too? Nice, awesome. So now I'm thinking like I should get more pins or
Get more
patches.
flair.
For this.
Get the flare
Yeah.
going.
I kind of want to start drama with it, like say something like "fuck the Fed." I don't know, like something. Abolish
my
public
God.
schools, like something that'll piss people off.
Oh, I have one that says abolish.
you could.
Fauci is a murderer.
So like you could put on the shirt what I said earlier, like so looking at public schools, I understand the shootings.
Mhm, yeah, like that.
I might get you arrested. Or at least questioned.
That should be a top Lepsa design. We need to get him in on this.
We'll send him a message. Everyone says abolish compulsory schooling.
Nice. I have some of those pins and I lost them. I need to put them on my jacket. I think I have like abolish some other things. I don't know.
Wear it around.
Mhm.
That's like the new punk, right? When that punk, like back punk would try to like kind of, ooh, I'm badass and like provoke people. But now we're the new punk people. So
We are. Yeah. Punk is now simp for government and big corporations, especially like the drug companies, right?
Dude, I'm so glad Rage Against the Machine renamed themselves to Rage for the Machine.
like, what the heck? Hex, there's a question for you. He hasn't watched in a while. You got it open. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I did that months ago, sir.
Yeah. He cut that bitch open.
Are we gonna do a shooting range? Hex
In
in April?
If anyone else is down, I'm down.
Nice.
You guys should.
Oh my god, I'm gonna shoot guns in December this year. My plan is to come over, visit a friend in California for Christmas, and then spend the time after that in Florida with other friends. And it's gonna be one friend. It's gonna be drinking, shooting, drinking, and his wife said something about body painting, which I'm totally down to.
Sweet.
Hell
Where in
yeah.
California?
California. No, that's just gonna be for one evening and like somewhere around the coast.
Okay. I'm in California. So if we're gonna be there for a little bit, I'd be down to hang out. There was one of the Airbnbs that I was looking at in Ohio for the meetup, and like these people had way too many rules. And one of them was like no noise after 10 o'clock. They'll call the police. You'll get fined $1,000. This, that, the other thing. No illegal activity. And then they explicitly said no guns on the property. And I was just like, fuck that.
Did they have cameras?
Damn.
Right.
Like if they had
I
security
just didn't
cameras,
wanna-
then maybe, but
I just don't want to test those people.
right.
I'll
So
see.
let's not book that one.
It's going to be the trip this year, but I'm definitely over the couple of next years. I'm probably going to do a couple of more US trips, maybe one where I actually have 3 weeks to spend. So
Nice.
that, yeah, I mean, I gotta meet up people, connect more. Planning to move over there. It's good to have connections.
Hell yeah.
I love meeting up with people because, okay, so what I'm seeing now is I think that we are headed towards like really dark times. And the best thing I can do right now is make connections with people I can trust because there's weird shit's going to happen. And I don't exactly know what's going to happen, but I think there's going to be food shortages. Like it's going to be hard to get like medical supplies, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And the more that we can connect with each other, with people that we can trust, make those connections now, then the better we'll be later.
Also like gather knowledge, like obviously trade shit, but on the other hand, definitely some herbal knowledge. Like, okay, if we're out of medicine, like, do we have something we could use which grows around us or stuff like that? It's gonna be so freaking important.
Yep.
And for everybody who gets a garden, it's good. I would never go with a garden where it's like, oh, we have these flowers for decorations. Like, I would probably just go for everything being practical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, my sister's old roommate is a veterinarian student, and he's now, I think he's now a veterinarian. I don't think he's a student anymore, but he knows a lot about like alternative medicine. So he'll constantly be like, oh yeah, if you have this problem, you can get this plant and make a tea out of it and that kind of a thing.
Oh shit, yeah, and also like for doctor shortages and everything, keep the vets around because in the case of emergency, that's going to be helpful.
Yes, much easier to get the supply through them than people doctors. They're going to get raided and shit sooner.
Even if you got a cut or something and you need something done, like they can.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Absolutely. I mean, this is why I'm hoping to get out of Europe because the things I see happening here it's not gonna be good.
It's not going to be good anywhere. I think it's going to be hard everywhere, but where you are, it's going to be even worse.
We're gonna have some. Like Central, we're gonna have with the cultural thing about the radical Muslims. They obviously, like as soon as shortages come, there will be tribes, but then there are also clans, like the Russian mob, the Lebanese mob, and everything. So that's going to be a massive factor. It's basically going to be a fucking civil war out there.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah, and I'm done with bad shit in my life. Like I've seen too much bad shit, and I'm not planning to get traumatized through war because this is so fucked up. Like I actually talked to a refugee from Syria, and we were, talking about experiences. And at one point he was like, "Why are your experiences more similar to a Syrian person than the average German person?" I was like, "Well, seen some bad shit."
Mhm.
But yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
I'm
we'll
sorry.
see how it goes. Oh no, that's fine.
I hope you get out
Happens.
quickly. I hope you get out soon.
Yeah, I mean, if not, I'm gonna make sure of one thing. We'll see, but I mean, going to the countryside, even that's going to be a thing. If there's going to be any bad stuff about Europe, like there's still the East open. Countries like Hungary and Czech Republic are definitely good emergency options. Though Czech Republic the language is way easier to learn than Hungarian.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
But on a lighter note, like you said, we're meeting people and making connections. And the people we meet are fun. Like, every time you go somewhere, we're all having fun. And I know
These
like
are the best group of people. I love
Cards Against
everyone I've met
Humanity
in the
champ
Liberty
right
community.
here.
and a lot of us have so I've met Quincy, who Pax has met, and I know Alex has met Anthony. So we have it's like, oh, we're almost there. We're like, everyone's
I
always
think
like,
Forrest Mommy, I think we have other friends in common too, because you used to live in
oh
Vegas,
yeah,
right?
and Sarah. What did you
Didn't
ask?
you did you used to live in Vegas or go to Vegas and
No.
hang out with the same, because Scott and Nicoletta there.
Yeah, I know them from Cassidy.
Okay.
Though.
Okay.
From
Okay.
that. Yeah, I know them from that. But yeah, I haven't talked to them since. I mean, I haven't been even on there. She came to my birthday party in Vegas, and my 30th birthday party, I had it at Bear, and they came, and she was pregnant at the time, and so she was like topless and pregnant, and just fucking glowing and beautiful. And I was like,
so sweet. She's like the sweetest person. Yeah.
it was so beautiful. And yeah, they're really nice.
Yes. Yeah.
like I'm gonna look forward on getting on the list of unicorn daddies piggyback ride.
I'm so bummed I missed out on that. I had the chance to meet him at Tom Wood's 2000th episode in Orlando, and he was there, and I was super tired because I just done the Thaddeus Russell thing in Texas, and then I was partying too much at the Tom Wood thing before he showed up, so I fell asleep. I went to sleep early that night.
Oh, boy.
I was so annoyed at Michael Malice too, and I love Michael Malice, but I was texting my boyfriend. I was just I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. But who is his special guest? And it turned out to be a fucking puppet. And I was I'm staying for the shit. Dude, I beelined back to the hotel room so fast so I could pass out.
You're like, bye. Done. What a silly. That's so silly of him.
Yes.
Huh? Any other topics we need to cover?
We lost Hex again.
Yeah.
His camera always does that 20 times.
Oh shit. I'm so glad that my crap top actually the things it does.
Oh, technology, yeah. If it works, it works. There he is. Huh? Hex, you got anything else to talk about?
Not really.
You've been really commanding the conversation the whole time. So, just kidding. All right, well, I don't know. We can end it there. It's almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Unless you got something else to say, Terminator Mommy.
His name is still so good.
I know, I love that picture. No, I don't really got anything else to say. If anyone's in Colorado, come to Steamboat next weekend for Robbie the Fire and Kyle.
That'll be fun.
Oh my god! I would love to see Robbie live.
I met him in Texas after one of the RU events. He did a show with Adam Nutter.
Oh, I bet that was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awesome.
He's funny. I love Robbie.
Me too.
All right. Alice, you got anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming on and hanging out.
Everyone plug
was
whatever
fun.
you want to plug.
Yeah, everyone plug everything.
Ooh, I have a Twitter handle. I post shit and do shit posting.
Hex, you can plug your stuff.
Hexo_Genesis on Twitter and Hexcelerate everywhere else.
Anyone else?
And I'm on Twitter too. I'm protected right now, so you have to follow me to see my stuff. I'm hoping to open up again soon, but I'm waiting on like personal shit right now.
Alice Forky 1, right?
Yeah, I don't do much on Twitter. Like, I comment on other people's stuff. Like, I don't really tweet. I'm not an interesting follow.
Whatever.
I like to piss people off with politics, parenting, and relationships.
Yeah, like
Stuff.
I'll retweet stuff, but usually I comment on other people's tweets if I like them or find them interesting. So
I mean, I'm posting anti-China shit, something paganism, and also like screw Germany and fuck the EU.
That sounds awesome.
Best ever.
All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon and evening.
You too.
See everyone Twitter side.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Peace.